And all right, we should be live. Let me refresh the page. Have we gone live? Okay, we have. Nice. I think. Are we live on your guys' end?
We are for me.
Okay. Let me just open my chat. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the third semi-biannual. None of them are accurate terms, but the shipbuilding competition. So hello. Well, I mean, there's nobody saying hello to Michael. He's here. Hello, Rick Hammer. Hello, Ian. Hello, Atari Mike. Hello, Mantis. Hello, Aiden. Hello, Shori. Hello, Tom. How goes it? So we've like with before, we've got 4 guest judges this time, although one of them is currently held up in he's getting food because he's a hungry boy. So Binary will be here. He's currently watching the stream and he will be giving his scoring as he comes along, and then he'll jump in probably like 20 minutes or so. So we also have returning, we have Flippy. He's here to hopefully this time not refer to anyone. He's basically hoping to not give anyone some ones and sandwiches if possible. Say hello, Flippy.
There will be plenty of ones, mate.
We also have some 2 new judges, some professionals, just so we don't have to rely on Flippy and Binary, who probably have combined got 2 hours of Starfield. So we've got the coffee man himself, Mr. Freeman. Say hello, Michael.
Hello, everybody.
And then we have the kind of the vanilla king when it comes to building ships. We have Noel Groth.
Hello, everyone.
All right, so now that is out of the way, so the way this is going to work, like with the last one, guys, I will be... Oh, whoops, wrong button. I will be showcasing your ships, and I will say, if your ship comes up, try not to say in the chat, oh, this is my ship. Now, the judges will not be reading this regardless, thankfully, so, yeah. And then we're going to... Oh, they're all going to give a score of 1 to 5, and I'm going to write it down. Then, once we have covered all the ships, we're going to be removing the 4 top ships from the voting poll, and then we're going to leave the public vote is going to go live in the Discord. So if you're not on the Discord, hop in the Discord, and then you guys will pick your favorite ship. There's Binary. He is the live. Thanks. Nice to show up, Binary. Least you can do, Binary, is link the Discord. Not joking. But yeah, so when the voting goes live, basically in the Discord, pick your favorite ship. And yeah, just the one thing I will say is try not to vote for your own ship, because that's not very sportsmanlike. But yeah, so let's begin, shall we? So just going over the brief, the idea, or for this episode, or this season, whatever you want to call it. The build requirement was to make a fighter that is B class or lower and has a size of 25 length or less from the middle and 15 width from the middle. So yeah, let's get into it. So all of these ships are going to be named in just entry. There's going to be no naming, so it's going to be all completely random. Before I start, I will say hello to everyone again real quick. Who have I said? Hello, Elevated. How goes it? Hello, Wicked. Hello, Aiden. Hello, S. Hello, Krister. How goes it? Hello, Sadir. Hello, Agamemnon. Oh, I did not know about the time, bro. That's good to know. I was not aware. All right, so we're going to start off. Hello, Tenebro. How goes it? We're going to start off with the first entry on the list. This is entry number 1. And just to confirm, judges, you guys could see me walking around this and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, mate.
Okay, perfect. Don't sound so excited, Flippy.
Oh,
So obviously,
I know, right?
I'm going to do a quick kind of... Oh, I didn't even start. What the... Okay. Going to do a quick little loop around, and then I will do an interior. And then we're going to take her off and fly it real quick, and then right at the end, we're kind of we'll go the scores. So just going by the exteriors, we'll start with you, Flippy. What's your initial opinion?
Looks alright. She's a bit big.
She's within the parameters, I believe. Yeah, no, she's in the parameters. You can't say she's a bit big. Okay, let's go to our resident experts. Michael, what's your opinion so far? What are you thinking?
I like it.
Okay, nice,
I like
nice.
I like the bridge you used on it. It's not something I would have put on a fighter, and that puts it kind of makes it unique by itself.
Very true, very true. And what about you, Nogroth? What's your opinion so far?
Well, when you say it fits the bill, it barely fit in there. I'm I like it. I think that the bridge being a little obscured by those side panels might present a problem if you're out there flying it first person. But overall, it looks like a pretty decent design.
Okay, and there you go already. We thought Flippy was going to be the one going with the for the jugular, but Nogroth here is going to be laying down the law. So we're going to check the interior real quick. And so we have a... Okay, this might not have been an all... Is this a 3x1?
Need a hand with something.
How big is the ship? Maybe you are right. Okay, yeah, okay, this is... Okay. So, we got a... Is that a 3x1? Yeah, I think this is a 3x1. We got a Deimos 3x1 here. We got the bridge we'll get to in a second. Docking port in the back. Simeon, there's literally chairs there, okay. And then we've got our captain's quarters. And then on the other side, we have our control station. And then, ooh. Okay, we've got extra. Holy shit. This, I didn't realize this shit was as big as it is interior. Now, it is in the brief, so if the creator is watching and you're worried, don't worry. It's technically, it's no rules been broken yet. And then we have this. I really like this bridge from the interior point of view. Now, obviously, when it comes down to the voting, I have no say over it, so I can be free to So anyway, so we're gonna take it up into space and see the weapons, the armaments on it. Also, if you guys notice my attire, I've got a nice little green and gold because it's Easter, and I was trying to find a nice outfit, and sadly, there's no Easter Bunny outfits in game. I will say I like the profile of it. It is a bit on the larger scale, but it is still definitely it's why am I sideways? Alright, so weaponry. So we've got some particles. We've got some EMs, and we've got some laser weapons. So we got decent layout all over. We're gonna really quickly Alright, so this is a little side-by-side of it. Right, so we're gonna start with the scoring. So Binary is going to be phoning in, because yeah. So Binary, if you're watching the chat, okay. So Binary has said 3.5 for the first one. The nostrils on the front really kills it for me, which is fair, I suppose. So we're going to move on now to so Nogroth, what's your score going to be?
I'm going to give it a 3.
Okay, gonna give it a 3. That is fair. Any reasoning behind that, or are you just gonna keep with just the score?
Again, I think that where the bridge is at in relation to those side pieces there might restrict visibility a little bit. And in a fighter, you want to be able to see all around you. Again, if you're flying in third person, that won't matter, but in first person, that will have an effect. So
That is
it's a
very
good
true.
build, but it's a 3.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, Flippy, what are you gonna give it?
Oh, it's getting a 2.
You okay? Getting a 2. Any reasoning behind that? Does it look like a food type?
Nah, I just not a fan of it.
Okay, and finally, we have probably the most lenient. Michael, what would you give it?
I'm gonna go with a 3 on it.
Okay.
It's just, in my opinion, there's just too much to it to a fighter as far as too much hab space in there. Fighters are cheap, fast, disposable.
That's fair. Okay, so well, that's the first one done. Now we're gonna really quickly head back down to the planet, and we're going to look at the second one. I will say, I do like it. Obviously, I'm not scoring. Oh God, that someone said that was gonna catch me, and that did. That is creepy. I will say I like it. if they were to, I will agree that the hab space is a bit large. Now it's within the limits, so you know there's nothing against it. Oh, I love when my ship doesn't spawn. So now we're gonna be checking out entry number 2 on the list. So this one is we got a blue boy. Let me do some highlighting. So again, we've got some Deimos and some Stroud and some Hope Tech pieces, which I quite like. I love that use of the cockpit. I feel like that's, in my opinion, it's probably the best combat-related cockpit in the game. We've also got 2 sets of engines, which I really like. And then we've got those bonus points for those little radiators. They look like kind of engines in themselves. And then pretty smooth all around. And then we've got those dual weapon mounts there. We're rocking some particles, and I think they're both the same type of particles, but one of them is an auto and one of them is a normal. In we go to the vessel. Alright, so we have a computer core room that I have not... The Deimos one? I don't think I've seen this before. So we've got the entry there, we've got the docking port underneath, got the computer core, and then if we go up here, we have control station.
Do you need my help?
No, you're good, Simeon, thank you. And then over the other side, we have a little 1x1 that leads to the bridge. God, this is just a 1x1 fuselage piece. And then, yeah. I mean, this, from a fighter point of view, I think this cockpit kind of highlights the, you know, you've got decent vision, not amazing vision from the interior point of view, but it definitely kind of feels very... So we're gonna take her off into space and see if she performs. I will say you may notice this, sadly, this event is not sponsored by Galbank. I reached out to many in-game sponsors, and they all were like, no. So, we're just gonna, yeah. Don't want to get sued by Galbank. So, I suppose, before we go with the scoring, so, just going off of the initial style, we'll start with you, Michael. What do you think?
I'm liking this one.
Okay, okay. What about you, Flippy?
Oh, looks alright.
What about you, Nogroth? What's your opinion so far?
Well, bonus points for using those Nova Galactic engines over there.
Yeah.
That's definitely good.
I'm a big fan of those engines. Alright, so we're gonna... Quick little weapon test. So obviously we've got 2 sets of particles and some missiles. So, pretty decent. I will say, I haven't really been checking the kind of the speed, but it's all gonna be kind of relatively, you know... When it comes to speed, I believe these are going to be, yeah, we've got some B classes and some A classes. Alright, so let's go with the scoring. So we'll start with you this time, Flippy. What sort of score are you going to give it?
I'll give it a 3.
Okay, okay. Any reason behind that?
Yeah, it's not as big as the last ship, doesn't have as many heads, but that's a win. It's meant to be a fighter.
Okay, that is fair. What about you, Nogroth?
I'm going to go with a 4 on this one. The Nova Galactic engines, like I said, give a bonus. It's really definitely forward-oriented like a fighter should be with all those forward-pointing particle cannons and missiles. Yeah, this is a good ship.
What about
Nice
you,
profile.
Michael?
For the exact same reason that Margaret just said, and I'm going to go with a 4.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to see... Binary said 3 for me. It's a tad boxy, but the Gauss cannons at the front look sweet. You have to forgive Binary. He doesn't realize they're particles. But I will say that whenever you have like these Nova Galactic weapon mounts, they always just kind of make me think of like some like Mac rounds from Halo, or you know, like railgun basically. So we're gonna head back down to the planet. So far going good. I will say with that one, I did like it. Color scheme is a bit unusual for me. I like the weapon layout, but I will say again, I'm not judging, so it doesn't matter. But I'm not a huge fan of the kind of the going with the double particles. Like when it comes to fighters, I'm more of a fan of like, you know, some laser weapons and some ballistics just to make it more, you know, balanced. But anyway, and then we have entry number 3 here. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. So, judges, I'm noticing a problem here. Wait, no, I'm not. It's 25, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, I thought it was 15 for a minute. No problem.
There's no issue.
No issue so far. Okay, yeah. This one, obviously, this is we've got a lot of. This is very Hope Techy, which I really like. I will say straight off the bat, it wouldn't be something I would initially look at and see as a fighter, but then Starfield kind of takes a very different approach to ship building. You know, we don't have those wings, you know, and stuff, so it's hard to make your standard, like, you know, something like an X-Wing. But I will say I do like it. I like that it's quite compact. I like the use of the weapons. What's your guys' initial opinion? We'll start with you, Nogroth. What do you think it so far?
Well, this should look familiar to old Michael there. It looks like a tug to me. That doesn't mean that it can't be a fighter, but that's my first impression is that a fighter or a tug? It's Hope Tech, so bonus points. Somebody knew who they were building for. Looks like we got lots of good weapons pointed forward. Doesn't look too big. It could definitely work as a fighter, so I'm leaning towards it.
Perfect. What about you, Flippy?
It looks a bit strange.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
I don't know, I reckon it's got too many weapons for the size.
It's got too many weapons for the size. Well, that's fair. That's fair. Okay. What about you, Michael?
For Hope Tech, it's as good as any Ghost. I mean, it looks to me like any fighter that you would put together for Hope Tech. That's spot on right there.
Okay. Good. And now we're gonna take her off and see how. I will say it does. Like I agree with you. Like it definitely is something that I could see Hope Tech making as a kind of a more combat-oriented fighter, and it still has those kind of elements. Because I feel like with Hope Tech vessels, they like to keep the idea that their ships are kind of meant as you know, that utilitarian sort of design. We got this bridge again. I do like this bridge. We've got good vision. I will say I don't. Now that when you brought up Nogroth about like the vision and stuff, I don't know if there's any good like proper fighter-esque bridges in the game that you can see. I feel like weirdly, I feel like Hope Tech or actually the Tayo bridges. Yeah, that's a fair point. Alright, we're gonna take her off into space, see how she performs. I believe we've got some 30-15s potentially. We'll see. Obviously, when it comes to like the speed and stuff, we're not going to focus too heavily on how it performs speed-wise, because realistically, we would like to see our fighters being, at the bare minimum, you know, pretty fast. So weapon-wise, we've got some lasers, some particles, and some missiles. Yeah, I just want to double check, even though, like I said, yeah, these are 30-15s. I will say, judges, like I said, don't worry too much about, you know, like the overall speed of it, because that wasn't really a brief. You know, it's going to be a fighter, so we're going to assume that they're all going to be quite... I know speed is definitely an attribute, but generally with these A and B class vessels, they're going to be fast and agile enough just because of the brief. Realistically, if we were to make these proper fighters, we'd have to take into account some perks to make them more agile. So we'll start off with you this time, Flippy. What sort of a score are you going to give it?
After looking at it more, I can agree with Melgroth. It kind of looks like a boat, so I'm going to give it a 3.
Going to give it a 3, okay. What about you, Nogroth?
I'm going to go with a 4 on that one.
You go to 4?
Yeah, it is a little weird looking, and I'm not really fond of the paint job, but I think that as a fighter, it looks like it'll do a pretty damn good job there.
Very true, very true. What about you, Michael?
I got to go with 4. Somebody came into this and they built this. I mean, it's not anything that I would picture for a fighter competition, but it fits the bill. It is it's what you can expect from Hope Tech. And as somebody who's fought a million ghosts, they can do what they got to do. I think it's a fighter.
Okay. And Binary is hit pretty hard. He's got a 1 for him. He doesn't like the style at all. He says A+ for uniqueness, but it does look like a tugboat or like some sort of tug raft, which is very true, very fair. It's fighter boat, yeah. Flippy in the head.
And they called me the bad guy.
Well, yeah, see, I think Binary's big talk because he's not currently here in the voice chat. I feel like once he gets here, he's going to be more. But no, I will agree. Like, I think it looks very cool. And I think from a lore point of view, I could definitely see it as a fighter. Obviously, I think we're all very much... a lot of us are kind of opinions when it comes to fighters are swayed by, modern sci-fi. Look at, like, you've got, like, the Raptor from Battlestar Galactica and stuff like that, so... It doesn't look like a fighter necessarily, but, it, like Nogroth said, it could definitely be a fighter. It's in the brief and stuff. Alright, so next one we're going to check is entry number 4. Okay, this is another kind of similar design. Very small, though. Very compact. This one is extremely tiny. Off the bat, I like the color scheme. We got a mix of some Tayo pieces with Hope Tech. Oh, goddamn, I jumped like 2 inches off the ground. So, looks like we've got a single hab inside of it, which is cool. Oh, yeah, no, it's a single hab. Okay, so just off the bat, red old Cleo. Fair. So we'll start with you, Flippy. What's your initial opinion?
Nah, looks right, nice and small.
All right. What about you, Mike? Oh, sorry, Flippy, continue.
The big things on top of the hab look like headlights.
They are suppressors. They're like EMP weapons.
Oh.
That is fair. What about you, Michael? What's your opinion so far?
I think somebody got on the Discord knows my affinity for small ships. I love it.
Okay, very nice, very nice. What about you, Nogroth? Sorry, I was reading the chat.
No problem. It's really compact, which I like for a fighter. You can have big fighters, but I think that a lot of fighters should be smaller.
Yeah.
It's got those, looks like those Vanguard Validators on there, and they've matched the paint, so that's pretty nice there. Unfortunately, it's got those Tayo landing gear, so that's going to take off a point. I'm kidding.
But I will say, I just see in the chat, the merging is allowed. There's nothing against it. That just because you merge, though, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to win, because as we've seen in the past, a lot of the ships that tend to win generally aren't too merged. I break my leg because I've got, I'm literally Joker. I've got brittle bone syndrome. It's got a nice little 1x1 hab here, and then we have the go-to cockpit. See, we need more of these kind of top cockpits. I think they're very nice. And again, we've got nice vision here. Even though this is not really meant to be a combat bridge in terms of Hope Tech, it's meant to be more of a kind of for a freighter or something. It does give good views. Your spots here on the side, your co-pilots and stuff, they can see. Oh, there he is, yeah. Jasper Crix is going to appear in some of these ships because he won't leave. He just... Hi, yeah, that's cool. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. But Bethesda... Yeah, I have no problem with merging. I think it can be interesting to kind of see. A lot of my ships will merge, just because I don't care how a ship looks internally. But obviously, we've got Nogroth is not necessarily against merging, but in a lot of his builds, he tries to keep it to the minimum. And then Michael is, Michael does Michael. He's kind of like me. He's no Tycho when it comes to merging, but well, no, you've done some pretty merge heavy builds. Weapon-wise, we've got those Vanguard Obliterator particles. We've got the missiles. which I believe are also the Vanguard missiles, and then we've got some EMs. So we're gonna go with the initial. We're going to, let me see if Binary responded first here. He is responding now, so we'll give him a minute. So we'll start with you, Flippy. What's your initial opinion?
That looks right, nice and small. I'll give it a 2.
Okay, okay, fair enough. What about you, Dolgra?
I'm gonna go with a 3. I really like the build, but the Overseer Bridge just seems like a little much for that build. So I'm gonna
Okay.
knock a point off because of that huge bridge on there. The regular Hope Tech cockpit would have been, I think, a lot better on this build.
That is fair. That is fair. What about you, Michael?
I'm going to give it a 4. I would
Okay.
drive it no problem. That's just
Perfect.
their Pentas killer right there.
Okay. And we're just waiting on Binary to. He's gonna give it a 3.5. He's not a fan of the height of the cockpit, but he thinks the rest is solid. 3.5. Perfect. I will say. Oh, thank you, McGamer. Thank you very much. For the donation. You're very generous. So we're gonna head back. Oh no, I'm not loading. So yeah, so I will say, like, I do like the design, and I do like the layout of it. With a kind of a small build, it's hard to because realistically those are the only cockpits you can kind of use. Oh, the weather's a bit. That was, I quite like it. I do like those small builds myself. And now we're going to entry number 5. Ooh, okay. So this one is very orange. It, off the bat, I like the shape of it and stuff. It definitely kind of like gives me.
Now that looks like a sandwich.
Oh god, here we go. Oh.
Not a bit bad. It's not green.
Okay, I thought I may have. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, all in all, I like the shape of it. It's a tad tall, but there's nothing inherently wrong with that. Again, like when it comes to fighters and stuff, you know, like how you interpret fighters is very much it's, you know, it comes down to it. Like Starfield doesn't necessarily have any like fighters in game. They're very much I do like how these, I will say, those engine mounts snapping there. I just love how they snap really well. Anyway, in we go.
Hey, just to be clear, I was kidding about that.
Yeah, no.
So would Flippy. Okay.
Yeah, he was
just in
just,
case anybody's excited there.
So, ooh, we got a little bit of merging through, but that's perfectly fine. Wait, where's the bridge? Oh, no, okay, it's over here. So we got our control station here. And then if we go up for the level, we have a second control station. Okay, that was probably not that was my bad. I don't think it's supposed to have 2 control stations. And then we have a docking port up above. Where's Crix this time? Okay, Crix mustn't be here this time. Okay, fair enough. And this is our first, I will say this, from an outside point of view, this kind of cockpit definitely kind of fits the aesthetic of a combat, like, fighter. If we're going to hop in real quick and just do a quick little pan. I didn't miss much, Mike. We're just on to number 4 so far. So, real quick, what's your opinion, Michael, on it so far?
So far, I like it. It's a little bigger than I would think in terms of a fighter. I'm going to see how she performs up in the air when you space her. But it's certainly a fighter.
What about you, Flippy?
Yeah, it's a bit bulky, but apart from that, it looks alright. I'm not too keen on the thing on the front, but yeah.
What thing? That thing that you can just see, the engine mount?
Yeah.
Okay, fair, fair. What about you, Nogroth?
Yeah, the engine mount for me is kind of taking it away a little bit. I think I know why it's there, but I'm not a big fan. I'm also not a fan of merging into the halves. It's not going to disqualify them, but it's something that would get on my nerves if I was actually inhabiting the ship.
That is
But
fair.
overall, it's a good, it has good lines on it. Definitely looks like it can do the job with all those Vanguard weapons there.
Yep, it's she kitted. We're gonna. Oh, that's not. I meant to. Whoops. I didn't mean to do that. All right, let's get in the cockpit. All right, let's take off. One thing I will say, again, I'm not. I don't necessarily mind. I will say that the merge they have used at the front there, the merge into the cockpit, I've kind of become partial to that just because I really like the like really quick. Let me show you. I like how it breaks up the cockpit a little bit. That actually kind of looks. It looks like it's kind of bent to fit just because it has those grabby things. But yeah. So weapon-wise, we've got... What do we get? We get some particles and missiles. So I will say off the bat, this is quite interesting. This is the first ship that's not weaponized to the gills. I mean, it is using Vanguard cannons, or obliterators, but it is nice to see. So we're gonna really quickly, we're gonna start with you, Flippy. What is your score and why?
I'll give it a 3.
You give it a 3. Okay, any reasoning for that?
Well, it's not armed to the gills, but at the same time, it's quite a lot of the Vanguard weapons. Not the biggest fan on the color, but apart from that, it's a decent ship.
Okay, okay. What about you, Michael?
I am going to go with 3, and there's no real specific. It's just not doing it for me, but it's a good little ship. I like the merging on the bottom. I really like what they did with the rear end. We're back to that. We're back to that. It's a little big for what I would classify a fighter as far as stacked up, but I think they did a really, really good job here. But as far as what I would think in terms of a fighter, it's not quite what I picture in my head.
That is fair. That is fair. What about you, Nogroth?
I'm also going to go with a 3 on this one. The engine mount out front, it just takes away from the sleek lines of the ship and the internal merging artifacts. I'm not a real big fan of that. Other than that, it's a good build, just not quite my cuppa.
Okay, that is perfectly fair. Binary has given it a 4. He basically says that he could see it a fleet of these launching from a carrier, and with the back parts, he can imagine them kind of folding out, which that is a fair point. I do kind of see that. Also, Binary's scoring is going to be... He's not going to be scoring for the next 5 or 10 minutes just because he's heading home. He's driving. We can't have him driving and texting, but he will catch up on those scorings when we get him in the chat. So back we go. So far, we've got some really good ships. I will say, I'm glad I'm not judging, but if I was judging, I would kind of be looking more so to the ships that don't have, like, max weapons and, that sort of stuff. That's just me. What is that moving? Oh, it's that thing. I will say it. Now that I'm on PC and shadows actually, like, function quite well, I'm caught off guard. It's a very nice looking game. I mean, even on Xbox, it is quite a nice looking game. So now we're on to entry 6. There we go. Okay. Okay, so just off the bat, I like it. I feel like we've got, like, some potential for, like, a very good combat fighter. So we've got the weapon mounts in the front, and then we've got those. I love the merge of that. Those Hope Tech thrusters, to me, they kind of look more like missile pods. I also tend to incorporate them into my builds nowadays just because they look good. We've also got 2 turrets on the back, which I quite like. Some kind of rear covering. And then we've got 4, I'm assuming they're going to be 3015s engines. Oh, I do not understand. Next time I'm going to do this on a planet with low gravity so I can't break my legs. So just straight off the bat, what are you thinking, Flippy?
Nah, it looks good. I like the aesthetic.
Okay. What about you, Michael?
I like it. It's a fighter.
Okay,
That's
very fair.
exactly what I have in my head for a fighter.
What about you, Nogroth?
Really good lines. I mean, same thing that Michael basically just said. This is what I imagine when I think of a fighter. There's some problems with it, but overall, really good build.
Okay, and now we're going to enter through the back. I'm just really quickly just checking the chat. Rue, I do agree with you. But when it came to the brief of this, it was just kind of to make some sort of a combat vessel that could be easily mass produced and cheap to manufacture. Again, obviously that comes down to, like, you know, because some of these will be more, they'll be more kind of prototype looking and more kind of expensive, which there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. So we've got our two little 1x1s, and we've got the bridge. We'll check in a second. There's also there's a hab on this, I believe. Oh no, it's just. Let me get out of the way. Okay, we just got the docking port up here. Back down we get. And then we have, again, we've got this is a nice bridge. Fits the kind of the theme of the cockpit. No, that's all good. That's all good. Like, ultimately, when it comes down to it, with the requirements and stuff, it was very much take off. It's very much, the brief is, it just has to be B class or lower and within the size of 15 or 25 length, 15 width. And then it comes down to the judges personally. That's fair. That is fair. I'm glad you have joined us. So, weapon-wise, we've got two sets of particles. We've got our primary particles, and then we've got those turrets. And just to confirm, yeah, we're using some 180s here, which there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, it's good from a fighter point of view. I will say I like the color scheme. Definitely plays into the Nova Galactic. One thing I will say, and I am wondering this, why didn't you use a Nova Galactic? Oh, because you can't put the Nova Galactic one backwards. Never mind. Which, again, Bethesda, get on that. Anyway, so we'll start with the scoring. What do you think, Michael?
I'm going to give this a hard 4.
Okay. Any reasoning behind that?
Yeah, this is something I would fly. Just like the tiny ships, I would fly this no problem.
Okay.
None whatsoever.
What about you, Michael?
Well, I just spoke, but you move on
sorry.
to the next guy.
I meant Flippy. Sorry, I'm reading the chat again.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3.
Okay. Reasoning.
Like it looks good, but I'm not the biggest fan of a fighter with the turrets. To me, like, if it's meant to be cheap, I feel like turrets should be quite expensive.
That's a very fair point, Flippy, and I would be inclined to agree with you to an extent. What about you, Nogroth?
This could have been a 5, but the single line of landing gear would make this very unbalanced on the ground when it's waiting to be flown. So I'm going to drop it down to a 4.
Okay, that is fair. That is fair.
In all other respects, this build is fantastic.
Okay, and then obviously Binary can't, so we'll get back to Binary on that one at some point when he decides to get back with his food. And I will agree. I think looks very nice. Now, to counter your point, Nogroth, because ultimately you've scored and it's your opinion, but I will say, for me, it's not a huge issue because I envision these more of like not having the capabilities to enter atmosphere, just because. But then that's more so me. Obviously, in Starfield we can't. But yeah, again, I really like the design. I think it looks awesome. I will say I would have liked to see how it would have looked if we were to use the Nova Galactic hab and flipped it a little bit. And again, with the turrets, I am a big fan of turrets, but I just feel like Flippy said, like I feel like turrets would be quite expensive to kind of produce and like the computing power to make them, you know. Yeah, exactly. That's a fair point. As long as the if the carrier, you know, was to have problems, that'd be a problem. But yeah, aside from that, though, again, I agree with you guys. Very, really well done design. We're gonna really quickly load the save just because it's a bit dark, and so now we're on to entry number 7. Oh no, I know, Rick Hammer. I know they are by default. They are quite cheap, and I that is fair. But I'm just thinking from a kind of from a design point of view. I think hopefully it's not raining, because I know I had to use commands to clear the rain on one of my... Okay, it's a bit rainy, but we can still see. Right, so now we're on entry number 7. So we've got entry number 7 here. So okay, straight off the bat, we've got a very Hope Tech design. I really like it. Really big fan of those landing gear. In general, I like them. On a fighter, I'm not really sure. Now, obviously, the thing is with fighters, like what I said there earlier about like some fighters being very much designed to be not used in an atmosphere and kind of be attached to a carrier or like a larger support vessel. With the Hope Tech, I could see Hope Tech making a line of fighters that like are basically planetary launched, because, you know, Hope Tech don't really make capital ships, whereas Deimos, you know, and Stroud, I could see them more likely making. I mean, Deimos have a capital ship in the Vigilance. But overall, I really like it. It is very big, but there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. So we're gonna really quickly get some opinions. So Flippy, we'll start with you. What's your initial opinion? You gonna break hearts or make hearts?
I'm sorry, whoever ship this is. I'm gonna break your heart.
Ooh. What are you saying? Like what's the big thing for you that kind of like it's making it kind of a, you know, you're not liking it, or...
All right. What I'd say is remove the landing gear and the like Nova Galactic thing on the front and the back, and yeah, sure.
So you're
But
saying
apart from
just
that, it looks
change
too
the
big.
design of the ship entirely?
Yeah.
Okay, what about you, Michael?
I was afraid you were going to come to me next. Well, it's not a direction I would have gone. That's not to say that it can't do the job.
Okay, fair. What about you, Nolgroth? You're the Hope Tech man here. You gonna... What are we thinking?
If this was a combat shuttle or something like that, I would flat out give it a 5. But as a
Okay.
fighter,
That's what it's giving more vibes of. It's like a shuttle.
yeah,
rather than a
I'm
fighter.
not really getting the fighter vibe from it. It's a beautiful ship. I love this ship, but I just don't see it as a fighter.
And that is something to highlight here, guys. While you may see some low score from the judges, that doesn't mean they don't like your ship. Like Nolgroth has said there, he loves the ship. It's just, yeah, it is very much like he doesn't believe it's a fighter. And again, I do kind of see that. It does kind of come across more shuttle vibes, but that's not necessarily to say, like, ultimately when it comes to that is very true, Rue. It'll look a lot different, those engines or those landing gear. But remember, you guys will all get to vote when it comes to it. So, you know, the design may be a lot different once we get into it. So we've got our initial entryway with our docking port. And then up here we have... Oh, we've got some merged missiles. Okay, that's a bit... You know, that's... Nothing wrong. Well, I can already see Nolgroth's about to say something, but yeah. Wait, what? What is this? Oh, there's a door here. Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't realize, given how large the ship is, I didn't realize it was merging. Simeon, where are you? I can hear you, but I can't see you. Oh, there you are. Yeah, okay. And again, nothing against people who merge and stuff. I quite like merge, and I have done similar merges like that where I've basically kind of stuck them all together. Just want to really quickly look at the... Oh, wrong button. want to look at the... try and wonder where that... Oh, that's there just more for aesthetic. Okay, that's fair enough. I will say, if you were to put the missile down here somewhere, I probably wouldn't mind them merging too much, because it would have looked like a kind of a more of a gun battery. But again, nothing against that. Just gonna... Oh, we don't have a door. Okay, Sibian, can you, like, stand there so if the missile goes off, it doesn't hit me? Again, I like the use of the cockpit. Alright, so away we go. I will say one thing. These landing gear, probably the coolest landing gear in the game, and I just love how they perform. Hopefully one day we'll get a mod or an update that makes them, like, usable as, like, basically as engines, because, yeah, they look very, very nice. Alright, so weapon-wise, so we've got some particle turrets, missiles, and we've got the turrets, or the particle weapons, and then we've got ballistic turrets and missiles. So we'll, no, I don't want to fire the missiles. So we'll start off with you, Nolgroth, this time. What sort of score?
I hate to do it, but 2.
Okay.
It's just not a fighter. I'm not a fan of missiles firing through the back of my head. It's Hope Tech. It's a beautiful ship, but as a fighter, I don't see it fitting the bill. So it's a 2.
Okay, fair, fair. What about you, Flippy?
Yeah, as Nolgroth said, it does not look like a fighter. Like if it was a shuttle, sure, like you'd get like a 3 or a 4 off me. But in the sad reality, whoever ship this is, you're getting a 1.
Okay, fuck me. Jesus. What about you, Michael?
I am whew. Man, it's a good looking ship. If it was a shuttle, I mean, those landing gear are made to be, they're made to move heavy stuff.
That is
This
very
is a
true.
fighter. I'm going to give it a 2.
Okay. So obviously, Binary will he'll pop in and give his score in a bit. Generally, I would kind of agree with you guys. It definitely kind of it looks to me more like a kind of a gunship than a fighter. Like those engines make it seem like it can more be used to dance in the atmosphere of a planet. And like with the I will even though Flippy disliked the Nova Galactic front, I do like that. I think it's nice kind of keeping like most of the things forward. Again, turrets on the back, not against them. I think statically they look cool, but functionally, I mean, they're no multi-cannons. I really wish we could get turreted multi-cannons. But anyway, yeah. As for the merging, I don't mind the merging, personally, but it's not everyone's cup of tea, which is perfectly fine. We're going to head back down. At least this one doesn't look like a sandwich. Which entry? We are on entry. That was entry number 7. We've got 24 in total. So we're just nearly a third of the way through. Yeah, no, that's what I mean. I agree with you, Nomad. It looks very competent, like in like, you know, like a kind of a combat situation where you need to bring a lot of firepower and stuff, like a gunship, or like maybe a kind of a, well, maybe you can have gunships in space, but... Alright, so now we are on to entry number 8. Alright, so... Start off the bat, I really like the color scheme. It's very nice. We got that Hope Tech again, the Hope Tech cockpit, which is really nice. Got the tile landing gear, which I think the tile landing gear looks quite good. We also have the those engines. I really like those engines. The pivot. I'm assuming they pivot just looking at them, but I don't know if they actually do pivot in game. Which maybe one day we can get that. And obviously for weapons, we have some particles, some railguns, and some Vanguard missiles. So we'll start with you, Nolgroth. What's your initial kind of feel for this ship?
I think this is a pretty good looking ship, and that's including the tile landing gear, which is amazing. I like the engines in the back. Those Nova Galactic engines are pretty awesome.
They are very true.
Of course, they got a good cockpit. Yeah, I think it's a fighter. It's doing the job.
What about you, Flippy?
So you're gonna hear this a lot from me today. I feel like a fighter shouldn't have this much weapons. It should be very minimalistic. So like one set of lasers and one set of party.
I am inclined to agree with you, but I will say that while the brief kind of mentioned like that, we want to make them kind of mass producible, depending on who is producing
See,
them. Like I could see like
but like
Tayo, maybe
just
going
the look
overkill.
of this ship, like it gives you the vibes that yeah, you can take on a small army just with one ship.
That is fair. That is fair. What about you, Michael?
I like this ship. If I would fly this ship. This would be just based on what I'm seeing right here. This is something I could outfit and do what I got to do for as a fighter. And yes, it would take on many ships. You put a fighter up against a capital ship, you kind of want those weapons. The weapons are cheap compared to a capital ship, so
Which
I think that falls into a cheap weapons platform.
that is very true. And the thing too is with these designs, we're kind of operating on the idea that these are prototypes. So generally, like when it comes to mass production, a lot of these hard points can be swapped out with something else if they wanted to go cheaper or if they wanted to go more expensive in specific roles. So in we go. I do agree with you, Shori. In Starfield, it's hard to do small fighters without making use of merging, and even then, if we do get some new like pieces, I would like to go back and try it again. But for the most part, it definitely gets the job done when it comes to like their kind of the vessels. I like the windows underneath. That's quite cool. Also, my knees are giving out. And then we have the docking board up top, and down here we go. All right, again, really nice use of this cockpit. I think overall this is, would you agree in saying this is probably one of the better looking cockpits in the game from an interior point of view, or would you guys disagree with me?
I would
Probably one of
agree.
the probably one of the better like single seaters.
Yeah. Definitely. What about you, Nolroth? I think you said something, but I don't think it was picked up. You disagree?
Oh, I said this is one of my favorite cockpits. So yeah.
Definitely wouldn't have had to do with it being Hope Tech. No. But it is, I do find it hilarious that like my favorite cockpits are Hope Tech, basically this one, and then the Hope Tech, the one that's is the Overseer, I think it's called.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just looking at the chat, and like yeah, again, when it comes to weapons, again, while there was the brief, ultimately it comes down to personal preference. There's nothing inherently wrong with all the weapons. It is a prototype, and there has been situations I've been watching I watch a load of those videos where they kind of talk about prototype aircraft from World War One and World War Two, and obviously some guys went with the cheap, some guys went more expensive to try and basically make their bid win. So weapon-wise, we've got those particles, we've got the missiles, and we've got railguns, which I will say I like. This, I want to say this is the first ballistic weapons we've got that aren't turrets. Nomad is coming with something controversial. He likes the samurai cockpit. I will say, Nomad, I do like how it looks from the interior, but it makes me feel like a chauffeur rather than a pilot. All right, so we'll start with the scoring. So, Michael, what would you give this?
Hard 4.
Hard 4. Okay, very nice. What about what would you like? What's the reason kind of preventing you from giving it 5? Like, what would you say?
There's still a lot of ships in the rotation, and it's going to have to be an astronomical ship for me to hand a 5 out.
That is fair. That is very fair. What about you, Noel Groth? What are you going to give it score-wise?
I'm going to go with a 3. I really like the ship. I think it's pretty well designed, but there's just a couple of things that I can't put my finger on yet that I'm not a big fan of.
Okay. And what about you, Flippy?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it as a 3 as well. Like as I mentioned earlier, not the biggest fan of how it's like to the teeth. I like where the fuel tanks are. Kind of looks nice with the landing gear.
That is fair. That is fair. Binary is back. He's just putting his. He'll be on in a moment. Uh, yeah, generally speaking, I do, let me go back into third person just to get it. I really like it. I think it's really well designed. I think the only thing for me, and again, it comes down to personal preference, I think the weaponry is a bit overkill, but there's nothing inherently wrong with that. Because like I could definitely see Tayo making more kind of, you know, even though this isn't Tayo, this is kind of a mix and match. But I could see Tayo going all out with their kind of fighters because, you know, they're kind of, you know, they're like that. All right, so now we are going to check the next one. Weirdly, we haven't had any issues. Oh my god, that needs to go away. Side note, I don't know if anyone noticed, I'm seeing way more new loading screens than before. Which I don't know if they like added them in, or maybe I just don't see loading screens. Maybe I'm immune to the loading screens after everyone kind of memeing. Oh, Starfield's a loading screen simulator. All right, so now we are on to entry number 9. So here we got a nice little compact vessel. We got some primarily Stroud Eklund. So like the color scheme, straight off the bat, we've got a nice forward-firing prow there with some Vanguard weapons. Color scheme's a little vibrant, but there's nothing inherently wrong with that. I do like kind of to stand out. And again, I will say what this kind of reminds me of... What is this planet? Is this like 5Gs? Oh, 1.04, okay, fair. So, initially off the bat to me, this kind of reminds me a little bit of the obviously not the taking into account the cockpits, not the cockpit, but everything else. Kind of reminds me of the Alliance fighters from Mass Effect in their kind of their stance. They're very much color scheme as well. But yeah, so we'll start off with you, Flippy. What's your opinion?
Color scheme. Oh, I'm sorry, but it just the red and yellow kind of reminds me of like sauce and mustard.
We've got a food reference already, and we're only 9 edges in. Okay, that's fair. What about you, Michael? What's your opinion?
For a Stroud, this is about what you come up with for a Stroud fighter. I've driven stuff like this myself. I think it looks pretty damn decent.
That is very true, very true. What about you, Noel Roth?
Well, overall, I like the design. Again, the bridge popping up the top like that. It's an awfully big bridge for such a small little thing. I think I would have preferred to see the standard
Show the front real quick.
Stroud bridge.
That is fair. I will say, I do feel like if you were to cut out that middle section and maybe flip the thing on the back, you probably could have went with that. But obviously, the designer, they kind of, you know, it's their style. I will like one thing I will say that's very cool. So there's 2 little features that I will point out. So one thing is I like that they've made some merging and they've merged in some missiles that kind of sit just about. And I really like that, how they kind of sit above. It gives some good texturing. And then the other thing, and this is the ship I was talking about. So this ship uses a technique that I wasn't aware of where you can merge items to lift them up. Again, this has nothing to do with the scoring. But when the owner, kind of when the competition is over and they start sharing, it'll be interesting to see because I can definitely see some new merging coming from this. All right, let's enter. No, it should have been. I'd say it would have been in specs, Rue. I think the only thing is, I think this designer is very much a fan of Stroud. Hello, Simeon. So we've got...
He's probably a fan of agility, because you know this little ship is agile as all get out.
Those engines on the back, like we got 6 of them with some merging. The merging Rick Hammer is, I'll briefly try and highlight it, but we don't want to spend too much time, because like I said, we'll let the creator kind of explain once the... So basically the back of the ship, the engines, it's kind of hard to see currently. We'll see it more in a minute, but when it comes to like merging and stuff, you know, like when you place an item, they kind of, let's say you've got level 1, level 2, level 3. The way the engines at the back function is they're kind of, the second set of engines are positioned on like the 2.5 level. So they're halfway between level 2 and level 3. And it's tricky to do, but it allows for very interesting kind of merging situations where you don't have to follow the principle of having, you know, level 1, level 2, level 3. You could do like level 1.5, level 2.5. So weapon-wise, we've got our particles. We've got our ballistics, which, Jesus Christ. And then we've got our missiles. So this thing is armed to the teeth. So you can kind of see there, if you notice the see these engines here, they're not between. So there's level 2 and there's level 1, and they sit between, which is very interesting. So we will start with, let me go to third person. No, there we go. I'll get it eventually. So we'll start with you, Flippy. What's your initial opinion?
It aesthetically, again, it looks nice. I'm not the biggest fan of that cockpit, as Nalgoth said earlier. I feel like the other Strat Eklund would look nicer. I'm not the biggest fan of the ballistics. I feel like that's too much.
That is fair. That is fair. So, what score would you give it?
Give it a 3.
A 3. Okay. What about you, Michael?
I'm gonna go 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic little fighter, and I know exactly how it would fly in that shape and configuration. It's a good ship.
What about you, Nogroth?
I'm going to go with 3. Again, the very large bridge, and I'll be honest with you, I fly in third person, so seeing the engines merge like that would drive me crazy. So
that is fair. That is fair.
Sticking with 3.
I will say, so again, Binary is not here, but he will catch up. The one thing I will say, Mike hopping in with the no fighter pilot in history that ever complained about having too many guns, which is true. Although I feel for the guys that had to fly those, you know, like the German fighter bombers that had the tank cannons. They were probably a little worried, but I will say, you could definitely pull these engines, these middle ones out, and you wouldn't have any issue. Aside from that, it definitely does... Wait. Who just spoke? Hello?
It was
Binary?
just Binary joining the call.
Oh, Binary, you here?
Yeah.
All right, Binary.
I have arrived, yeah.
What score are you giving this ship?
The Sandwich Mobile.
Okay. So just so you're watching the stream, yeah? You're watching the Stroud one currently?
It's got the wood grain and the red and the white.
Wood, yeah, if you want to call it that.
Well, it's custom. I'd probably give it 3.5. I'm still not a fan of that cockpit personally, but
that is fair. That is fair. But I will. One of the things I will say is, if you remove some of the merging and stuff, I could definitely see this being a staple ship being sold by Stroud. Like, I think it does a decent job. Again, for me, I think the weapons are slightly overkill in my eyes. But again, that's down to personal preference. So we're going to head down to the planet, and then Binary, I'm going to really quickly run through the ones you've missed, and you can just give me your score. I think we need to do 6, 7, and 8. So just really quickly, 13.5. Just adding the scores up as we go.
it's just it's a bit of a ride. It's kind of cold out on the highway.
That's fair. That's fair.
Took the long way home.
All right, so we're gonna really quickly look at entry number 6. Binary, what are you scoring this bad boy here?
That is a lot of guns for a cheap fighter, in my.
Just to point out, Binary, those kind of things in the middle, the like 4 holes, they're just thrusters. They're not actually weapons. So
I was like, Jesus.
Yeah,
Christ.
they're like a structural piece. Yeah, they're made to look like kind of missile pods, but currently it only has 2 sets of weapons. It's got particles there, and then it's got the turrets on the back. So what would you
I'll
score?
give it a 4.
Give it a 4.
Give it a 4.
Okay, perfect. And then entry number 7. What are you giving this one?
I'll just wait for the stream a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of the big spine on the back. I'll probably give it to 3.
Okay.
Aren't you Mr. Goody Two Shoes? Jesus Christ.
And then finally, number 8. What would you give number 8?
Ooh. I like the color. The color is very nice. Probably get a 3.5.
3.5.
I want to say 4, but it's a little chunky for me.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm just gonna tally up these. Okay. That one is 15. That one is 8, and then. Okay, so now we are on to. So we're on to entry number 10 on the list, which I will say this is very nice. Color scheme is really nice. It's got some nice kind of setups to it. Is it? I can't tell if it's sitting lower or if that's just how low it sits. No, that is how low it sits. Okay, perfect. So I really like the color scheme. When it comes to like actual like fighters, this is probably the first on the list that like looks very combat. And bonus points on the Deimos cockpit. I feel like the Deimos cockpit only fits in the role of a gunship or a fighter, and it does really well in this kind of aspect. So since you've been missing binary, what's your initial opinion? Obviously don't give score, just your initial opinion so far.
I like the cockpit. It reminds me, I don't know if any of y'all play Elite Dangerous, but it looks very Federation-esque.
It does.
And they've got pretty combat ships, so definitely looks aggressive.
What about you, Nolroth?
Oh, it's a good-looking fighter there. I'm a little worried about bumping those missile pods when I land, but that's not too bad. I like the way they merged that Hope Tech thruster with the structural piece.
Yeah,
that came out looking really nice. I'm thinking this is a good-looking fighter.
All right, real quick, I just want to say, Adrian, I do agree with you. Normally, I would use free cam if I wanted to move around a lot more, but you'd have to constantly type in a TFC. What about you, Michael? What's your opinion?
Y'all know my affinity for these fighters these days. I like the merging they got on the wings. I like the weapon spread that I'm looking at so far. I'm like Nogris, those little bottom pods on there, they would get me, but obviously they fit, they're fitting the drive there. It's a good looking ship. I like it.
What about you, Flippy?
Well, you've seen my ships in the past, Dylan. My ships resemble quite similar to this, so I fuck with this. I reckon it looks pretty good.
Nice. I will say the weapons glitching, that's not really on the designer, more so Bethesda. How Bethesda seems to handle like I feel like those landing gears could lift a little bit taller, but I will say there has been some vehicles in history that have kind of had landing on like single landing gear. I can't think of it off by heart. I know that the Germans in World War II had the Starling. That's not what it's called. That's what it's called in GTA. It was like the jet fighter that basically had... It was like a bicycle landing gear, just front and back wheel. So I could definitely see, like, you have to be very careful when landing this. Kind of remind me of that, there was an incident in... I think it was during the Vietnam War where, like, a fighter accidentally fired off one of its missiles into on a carrier deck, and... Yeah, we wouldn't want to have a situation like that. Yeah, the ME-162, that is it. That is the ship. I quite like that ship. But anyway, so we've got a little hab here, which I quite like. It kind of, again, this is the thing with Starfield vessels, is they're quite large by, like, sci-fi standards. So it makes sense to have some room in it. And then we have the big Deimos bridge. Yeah, that's another one that it lands and takes off. Wouldn't want to be... Hello, Simeon. I wouldn't want to be somebody who had to land a ship that was on 2 singular wheels. One front, one back. Cockpit, again, I'm not a huge fan of this cockpit, just because initially I used to see it in all the Deimos vessels, and I'm like, this really needs to be on a combat like oriented fighter, but this is the one. This is really perfect fit. So in we go. Oh, binary! I forgot to. Did I ask you?
Yes.
Ask me what?
Did I ask him what his opinion was? I covered all four of you, didn't I?
Oh yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'm not used to you being here. I'm used to opening my Discord and seeing what you said. Let's take off. Tenebrew, is that the ship where like that thing happened with the missile kind of flying off the rack into? Because I watched a documentary on that and it was kind of like goddamn. All right, so weapon-wise, we've got primary particles, secondary particles, and we've got some missiles. I will say from the back, the profile, it probably is Tenebro. I can't remember the name of it, but I really like the profile, how it looks, the back, like the use of those engines. So we're gonna really quickly, oh, there we go. All right, so we'll start off with you, Flippy. What's your score and why?
I kind of wish like both primary weapons went the same type, but yeah, but we've noticed that a bunch today, like everything's armed to the teeth. I'd give it a solid 4.
4, okay, fair. What about you, Binary?
I give it a 4.5, just because it
4.5.
looks very nice.
Okay.
Don't want to give out a 5 too early.
Okay, that is fair. What about you, Michael?
I got to with the merging he did. I'm going to take out the fact that that the weapons end up on the ground when he lands. I'm not going to blame that on anybody. I'm going to with the merging I'm seeing on the size, and I'm going to give this one a 5.
Okay,
Ooh.
we've got the first 5. Very nice. All right, Nogroth, what's your opinion? What are you giving it?
I'm going to give it a solid 4.
Okay. What would you say for you? What's the kind of the main reason like stopping you from giving it a 5? Is there anything about this specifically, or is it just you're holding out?
I'm holding out.
Okay.
I would almost give it a 5. In fact, I was debating that right up until you talked to me, or came to me in the sequence there. But I think the engine scraping or the weapon scraping the ground is kind of probably that thing that's holding it back from a 5 to me. I know that's
fair.
probably not his fault that the weapons scraped there, probably, or the designer's fault, he or she or whatever. But it's still it impacts my opinion of the build overall.
And that is fair. I will say a lot of these ships have lore tied to them, and I did say I don't want to mention the lore because it'd be kind of unfair to people who didn't write lore because it wasn't a requirement. But this definitely has some cool lore after the fact. When we do announce the kind of the ships, I would look to this one because the lore is very cool. Overall, I would say I really like it. This would be how do I? Oh, come on. I would kind of give this a very high ranking. I think it looks really, really nice. With what kind of what Flippy said. Again, I feel like the weaponry is a bit too much, but again, when you know the kind of the design philosophy behind this, it kind of makes a little bit of sense. I think that obviously it's making use of a lot of different pieces, but I could also see this being a Deimos heavy fighter, just because it looks the part. So that is number 10. Now we're going to load the next set of ships. We're on number 11 now. So far with the scoring, we've got some that ship just kind of skyrocketed out to the front, but we've got some ships in
I think Bonner is making your scoring very difficult.
not necessarily. Not necessarily.
I'm a bit of a critic.
Oh, it's raining again. All right, so this is entry, just to confirm, I think this is entry number 11. Yes, it is. Okay, this is entry number 11. So we've got that first Stroud Viking CP bridge, which is nice to see. It's also raining, so ignore the rain. I quite like the look of this. Again, it definitely kind of gives me more of a, because like I feel like when it comes to fighters, generally you have like the two types of fighters. You've got like the kind of the smaller fighters that are deployed via carriers that have a kind of a short range kind of thing, like more like interceptors. And then you have like the kind of the more kind of heavier fighters that can take off on their own and don't require any kind of, So I like the color scheme. So we'll straight away we'll start off with you, Michael. What's your initial opinion, just looking at it?
Once again, we've gotten into that stacked up, not quite as sleek as I would look for, but I mean, I don't see anything there that I wouldn't drive. I especially like the fact that somebody went with this Stroud Viking cockpit finally. It's one of my favorite cockpits, and I do like the side shield in the rear end. So, looking good so far.
All right. What about you, Flippy? What's your initial opinion?
Yeah, it's a bit stacked. Like the turrets, like you already know my opinion on the turrets. I like the placement of the Doctor. I'll give you that.
Yeah, we got
Not a
some.
big fan of the color.
That is fair. What about you, Binary? You're probably gonna like this color because
Yeah, black and green's my thing. It is a little tall though for me, and the cockpit's a little wide for a fighter, in my opinion. But
That's fair. Again, that is fair. You are the judge. It comes down to you guys. And then finally, we have Nogra. What do you think, Nogra? With your
I actually like this a lot, more than I thought I would at first glance. But as you've been panning around, I've taken a shine to it, actually.
Yeah, okay, fair. I will agree. I do. I like I said it definitely is on the larger scale. God damn it! It's definitely on the larger scale for fighters, but there's nothing wrong with that. It's still in the brief. And like I was saying, there's they have different kind of fighters. So interior wise, we have all-in-one berth here. Then if we come up here, we have another all-in-one berth. Obviously these may be set up differently, but when the person puts their kind of their design up. Got the Docker off to the side, really nice. Oh, they fixed it. The Docker no longer has like weird texturing. That's quite cool. Anyway, we got the bridge. Flippy's in chat arguing with people. Good job, Flippy. So one thing I will say is I do like this bridge, and it may fit the aesthetic, but for me, I think there's too many seats. This kind of seems more, but like, again, obviously, like maybe I'm thinking too much of kind of like Star Wars era fighters, like TIE fighters and stuff, where there's only really one pilot. This is the Viking CP bridge from Stroud Eklund. It is the best bridge in the game for crew. It looks really nice. Your crew have some crew stations. I will say I like the weapon pods too. The thing is, I feel like these can be like kind of swapped out, interchangeable. So we're gonna take her off. Yeah, that's what I mean. As it could definitely be more inclined for a heavy fighter having the big cockpit. Overall, I quite like the shape of it. I love those engines. 10 out of 10 on the engines. Alright, so weapon-wise, we are armed to the gills. So we've got primary particles, secondary particles, and we've got particle turrets. We're going to really quickly look around it. I will say, this looks really nice from the bottom. I like the use of the Tayo landing gear. I will say it was very tricky to find them because I didn't know they did landing gear on the bottom side. I haven't used them much. And then we've got a lot of merging, but there's nothing inherently wrong with that. So we'll start off with you, Binary. What sort of score are you going for this?
I'm gonna have to give it a 3. It's just a little chunky. I was gonna give it a 2, but black and green, hard to disagree with that.
That is fair. What about you, Flippy?
The cockpit, like the interior, of course, like you can't really change that. It looks alright. I'll give it a 3 as well.
That is fair. What about you, Michael?
I'm going to give it a 3. I think it's a little much for a cheap disposable. We're going after the capital ship fighter. I think it's an outstanding looking ship, and it's something that I would drive. But is it something that I would use as a fighter? I mean, I can't compare this to say some of the little tiny ships that were earlier, so I'll give it a solid 3.
That is fair. Just to confirm, Flippy, did you give it a 3 as well?
Yeah, mate.
Okay, perfect. And Nolan, what about you?
I'm going 4. I
Okay.
really like the design on this. The engines, those weapon pods, the fact that he's using the narrow or the what are you shorter Viking bridge as opposed to the big cockpit bridge or the big overseer bridge type thing. I can't remember. Kontiki, I think, is the
Yeah, the Kontiki, the CP.
I really like it. It's a really good build. It is heavy, but I see a role for heavy fighters. It's if he would have had one more hab, I probably would have dropped my score. But I think, having like a command center and an all-in-one makes it a long-range fighter. It's really good. And as far as being armed to the teeth, one of the things that we're trying to do, I guess, theme builds, but within the game, you need all those weapons firing.
You do,
And some
which is very true.
All right, that's me.
Perfect, and that's everyone. We've covered everyone, haven't we? Yeah, okay, perfect. I will say just in the comments, it's more so about like trying to make ships that are mass producible. Now, it doesn't have to be, because like we said in some of the other ships, there can be situations where vessels can be like, more, like say, like I could see someone like Tayo making more kind of purpose-built, experimental, kind of expensive vessels, but again, it comes down to personal preference and the judges. Right, I'm going to really quickly, I just need to pee, so if you guys want to just Flippy, because I know some of you guys can't see the chat, judges, but if you guys just give me a moment, I will be back in like 2 seconds.
Oh, right, then let me have a read.
Does Flippy know how to read? Or are you sure you picked
Oh,
that
no,
up
how
from
to
that
read.
person?
Fuck you.
He only knows how to read if it's related to food.
So I've noticed.
Right.
Now, don't
I ain't
anybody
insulted any ships. I said one ship looked like sauce and mustard.
don't send Flippy no money. He will not dance for you, and he will not educate or
I
entertain you
never got
whatsoever.
that. I never got that money. Crimson got that money. There's a difference.
Well, you didn't entertain. I didn't get my money's worth anyway, did I?
That's right.
No. I needed the money addressed to me, man.
That's what you said. You said if we send you money, you'll entertain us for 2 minutes.
I didn't get money. Crimson got money.
Well, I sent the money to you, right? You
No, you
said
sent it
send
to
money,
Crimson,
you'll
not me.
entertain.
I don't want food, Tycho.
That's
Send
not what
food.
you specified. You just said, "Oh, if there's some money in here, I'll entertain you for 2 minutes."
I am back. I will say, Flippy, Michael is correct on that regard. You were paid to dance, and you did dance, so why would you get the money?
No. The money never came to me. Right, so I didn't dance. I don't dance for free.
Well, that is fair. Where did I...
Yeah, I'm not sure that's how that conversation went, but
Oh,
okay, we'll play that.
no. Don't make me go set up one of them sites, man, and I'll dance for you, man. Don't worry.
All right,
I
so
think
anyway,
you
this
need
is...
to go back and rewatch that stream.
I don't want to.
This is entry number 12. That stream is a very, very rough moment in his career for him, Michael. He realizes how offended he made people by mentioning food. So, no, Matt saying it was terrible. Don't ever leave us again.
It was just instant arguing.
All right. So anyway, so we've got our entry number 12 here. I will say, I really like the color off the bat. And I think we've got another, in my opinion, we've got another Are they lights? I didn't know there was lights in those landing here. We've got another competitor for like a decent kind of fighter. I mean, they're all decent fighters, but in terms of kind of the layout. So we've got, again, we're kind of armed to the teeth, but there's nothing wrong with that. In like being said, in the Starfield universe, you kind of need to have the good firearms. There's no merging on this, which is, I think it's a bonus. It's nice to see, like, non-merged vessels from time to time. So we'll start off with the dancer himself. Flippy, what would you say initially? What's your initial thoughts?
Oh, yeah, I don't know if this person's gonna get my point, but it's very purple, and it's giving me like jester vibes from like a king's court.
That's fair. I'm glad that you can see color. What about you, Binary?
I like the split engine design. Looks very nice. The color's not really my thing, but the gray looks good.
Real quick, just the person asked about the biome. This is really close to the house on Nassau. If you buy the house, I'll just really quickly bring it up on the map so you can see. It's literally right by the home you get the perk with. Also, I just broke my leg again. Anyway, what about you, Michael? What's your initial opinion?
I don't think anybody's going to care about the color when it's raining hell down on you. So
Exactly.
the color doesn't bother me a bit. And certainly they went with the Deimos tails, and we all know that that's the you got to have those on every fighter. I like it.
Fair. What about you, Nogroth?
It's an interesting design. I'm not sure that I like it yet, but I'm not sure that I dislike it yet.
Okay.
I'm still working on that one.
That is fair. That's fair. All right, in we go. I will say initially, I do like the. I think bonus points for ships to try and keep it on like 1 to 2 layers. Personally, but that's just down to me. I do like the fact that it just showcases that you can make a quite nice vessel without merging. You know, merging isn't the be all end all. So in we go. We've got some agreements here, which is very nice. So we've got, again, this is quite a small vessel, which I quite like. We got the docking port. And then we have, hello, Simeon.
Got a new assignment for me?
And then we've got this bridge again. Really nice bridge. Again, I think it fits quite well on this ship, just because there's not a lot to it. You know, you don't have so much for the hab space and stuff. Why are you looking? You're looking like a bouncer. I do like how he's standing. He's like protecting the area. Anyway, so in we go. Oh, no, it definitely is. It's hard to, when it comes to smaller ships, it's definitely very difficult to make. That's why I feel like Nogroth is kind of, when it comes to making really nice looking kind of ships without merging, Nogroth is kind of the king of that. Personally, I like the merging just because I tend to like going with smaller ships. It's interesting seeing people in the chat and kind of like, it's very much a kind of an X Factor situation where like some of the ships that are kind of getting low marks from the judges are getting high marks from the, so it'll be interesting to see who they choose for their 5th slot. I have the urge to merge. All right, so weapon wise, we got a lot of particles here. So, Jesus Christ. I look like I'm witnessing the Covenant trying to glass a planet. But I will say I think it really cool looking design. So we'll start off with you, Binary. So what's score and why?
I'm gonna give it a 4 because it has a lot of guns, and I don't really want to give it a lower score because it might kill me.
Fair. What about you, Michael?
I'm gonna give it a 4 as well.
Okay. What about you, Nogroth?
I'm gonna go with 4 because
Okay.
A, it's not merged. B, it has hidden the shield within the structure a little bit there, so it's a little bit harder to hit. And of course, it's armed to the teeth. And I can change the color. Yes.
You can, exactly. You have to buy a minimum of 30 units, but you can have it any color you want as long as it's black. What about you, Flippy?
For a good non-merge ship, yeah, I'd give it a 4. So, like, good on you. As said,
All right,
Oh.
that's a.
It's not merged.
No
it's
merging
not
at all.
merged.
4.5
Oh,
because
God.
I don't like merging.
That's just because you don't know how to merge.
Yeah, potato. I'm just lazy.
All right, so that is going to put our score at 16.5. So we've got a close one here, very close one. Yeah, I do agree. Like the cockpit is quite exposed, but then the thing is with fighters is generally speaking, you're quite limited in your your choice for cockpits in the game. And while I think if the ship was any longer, I would be against this cockpit, but I think it works well with this ship. It's very nice. All right, now we're gonna head back down to the planet, and we're going to check out the next one. So we're on to entry number 13. Oh, there's a nice screenshot of a vessel I did review. We've got some people saying if they could buy it in game, they would. That's bonus points to the designer. And
You're at a keyboard. How lazy in that? Listen. I can get lazier.
That is true. All right, so entry number 13. Oh, okay, interesting. We've got the first one making use of that big cockpit. That's going to be interesting to see what the kind of the judge's response. I will say, size-wise, it's quite compact. I believe there's merging here to kind of hide all this stuff. I'll withhold my comments for the end. So we'll start off with you, Binary. What's your opinion?
It's a little short and stubby,
No.
but I don't hate it. I wish the sides lined up a little better with the cockpit, though.
That is fair.
Okay.
Hot.
Oh.
Just coming up.
Ignore Flippy. He's food mad. He just, I don't know if you heard that, but he just said ooh cake. What about you, Nolgroth? What's your initial opinion?
You know those cartoons where you have Spike and the little dog? This is like the little dog to the Claymore Spike.
It is. That is very true. It's like a baby Claymore. I just imagine this like, like the cockpit of the Claymore detaches, and it's this. It's like, Rick Hammer said the exact same thing, mini Claymore. What about you, Michael?
I could see myself flying this ship as an all-arounder.
Okay, so not necessarily a fighter, more so a general kind of purpose vessel.
That's correct.
Okay. And what about you, Mr. Cake Boy? What are you thinking?
It's a brownie for starters, apparently.
Okay.
It doesn't strike me as a fighter. That cockpit I'd more use in like a exploration vehicle. But
that is fair. I'm just looking at the comments. It seems to be the general consensus is like a mini Claymore. Nothing wrong with that. Right, so in we get. Big head, no wings. Looks like a real warrior. So off the bat, we've got a little all-in-one berth, Nova Galactic, and we got the docking port, and then we have the big bridge. There's a second. Oh no, there's not a second level. Okay, interesting. So again, the thing is, I like this cockpit. It's a cool cockpit, but I'm kind of inclined to agree with everyone here. It looks. I don't know if I would see this on a fighter. Maybe more of a kind of like a bomber or something like that, where you need more crew. Flippy, they're saying you're making them hungry. Good job. I will say though, overall, I think they did a decent job of kind of keeping it all like aligned and stuff. Anyway, we're gonna take her off into space, see how ship performs. It's very compact. It kind of reminds me of, don't the Star Trek shuttles look a bit weird like that? They have like a very semi-cylindrical cockpit. Okay, I
Maybe
take
more
that
like
as
the Defiant.
Don't get me lying to you. I wouldn't know.
okay. Alright, so weapon-wise, let me check the weapons first. So we have some particles, some ballistics, and some missiles. I will say off the bat, I do like the fact that they haven't went overkill and maxed out those pips. This is definitely, like, I have the perk that increased my power by 5, so they actually went in to make sure that the ship is usable without needing extra perks, which bonus points on that. So we'll start off with Nolgroth. What's your score and why?
Okay, for whoever designed this ship, you did a beautiful job with it. It is an awesome ship. It's not a fighter. For the same reason that I voted down the Hope Tech shuttle, I'm voting this one down to a 2.
Okay, that is fair. What about you, Binary?
I'm gonna give it a 3 just because it's a little stumpy for me. But other than that, it's pretty solid.
Okay, that is fine. What about you, Michael?
I would use this ship as my all-arounder all day long, but compared to what we're doing here with other people's ships and stuff, I'm gonna give it a 3. I think this might be a fan favorite, but I'm gonna give it a 3.
What about you, Cake Boy, Brownie Boy?
It's Brownie. I agree with Nolgroff. It looks very nice, like very nicely merged, but it just doesn't look like a fighter.
Which, again, that is fair. So what's your score?
Yeah, I'll give it a. I'm gonna go a 2 as well with
Man
Nolgroff.
was about to give it a 4 despite completely destroying it. All right, that's perfect. Okay, and I will say I do agree. I think you've got a cool design here. If you were to swap the cockpit for something a little smaller, I think you could have had it. Like, I think the way the weapons are balanced quite well. You know, you've got good kind of size, but I think it's just the cockpit is very much. It's the make or break situation. Looks like the Funko Pop of spaceships. Now that's an insult to this poor spaceship, okay? As much as I like Funko Pops, goddamn. Yeah, the
You're a
general
Funko
consensus seems to be is good ship, not a fighter, which
You
is fair.
resemble a Funko Pop more binary.
Yeah, didn't realize my mic was unmuted. Not gonna lie.
Wow, good job. Way to seem professional, Binary. All right, so now we are on to entry number 14. Oh my, okay. I will say, straight off the bat, goddamn she tiny, and I really like it. A cheapy claymore. Yeah, I mean this kind of, again, this is very reminiscent of a kind of a fighter you'd see in the Mass Effect universe. Really good job. I can see some merging. So we'll start off with you, Flippy. What's your initial opinion?
Heavily merged. I like it. Looks pretty good. Color. No, the color looks pretty nice as well.
What about you, Binary?
It looks like a little flea with some guns. It looks very nice. I'm not a huge fan of merging, like I said, because I'm lazy. But other than that, well, very well put together.
What about you, Norgroth?
I like it. I'm not a big fan of merging, but the person that merged this so far did pretty well. We'll see what happens on the inside because interior hab merging is really not something I'm a fan of. So we'll see what happens once you do the interior.
What about you, Michael?
Exterior wise, this is tops.
Okay, fair. All right, let's enter. So in we go. So I think they have hid the merging for the Jasper's back, nice. I don't know where he goes, but so pretty simple interior, nothing out of the ordinary. We got the very nice Armstrong cockpit. So we're gonna head off into space. Here we go. I think I will I had some things to say about this, but I will wait till after the scoring, just because we want to keep it as fair as possible. So weapon-wise, we've got ballistics, we've got particles, and then we've got turrets that are hidden. So yeah. So we'll start off with you, Nolgroth. What score are you giving it, and why?
I'm going to give this one a 5. I
Okay.
really like the design on this one. It's really well armed. It kind of fits my aesthetic to a T.
That is fair. What about you, Michael?
Y'all know I build them just like this. This is a 5.
Okay, okay. What about you, Flippy?
Nah, you nailed it. They know who they are, so this is a 5.
Okay, and Binary?
I'll give it a 4, just because I'm lazy and I don't like merging.
Okay, so that is a score of 19. We have a new leader. I will say, I know who built this, and while I think aesthetically it looks awesome, I think it is way too overkill with the guns. But obviously, if you see here, all of the guns are inside this hab. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but I would have loved to see the guns actually mounted, because you do have mounting points. I think this would be a winner for me if it actually had the guns mounted and it was more, because I could see this being very much a like a kind of, what would you say, a mass producible fighter. But anyway, so we've got our new leaders. Now we're gonna head back down to the planet. Well, I do agree that when it comes to overkill, there isn't really, but from a balance point of view, fair. But I was kind of looking at them more of a, like if somebody's gonna mass produce them, and to me, like, again, there's nothing inherently wrong with having like all particles, but in this day and age, I like seeing people making use of like some standard ballistics and lasers, but realistically, they're not gonna cut it on higher difficulties, so it makes sense. Alright, so now we are on to entry number 15. Oh, okay, I really like this one straight off the bat. So, we got some Stroud mixed with Deimos. I really, really like it. And we got some, also got some, Hope Tech pieces. So, yeah, I think really good job. So we'll start off with you, Flippy. What's your opinion?
It looks alright.
Okay.
I like how they haven't like made it a flashy color. It looks like pretty much all default from the colors. So
now that I'm looking at it, it might be all default. Maybe it's supposed to have a different color. I don't think so though, but yeah, whoever made this, if the color is wrong, I do apologize, but I don't think anyone's gonna fault you for it. What about you, Michael?
I like it. Yeah, I like it. That's a good looking ship.
All right. What about you, Norcroft?
I'm with Mike. It's a good looking ship.
What about you, Binary?
I think that I really like the 3 ridges on the back. I think they look nice.
That is fair. All right, let's go check it out. Where's the entryway is in the front again? There's a missile pod just sticking off. Why is there only one missile pod there? Is that maybe how it's set up? I don't think I made mistakes when building this, but it may just be one missile pod. Again, to the builder, if I have made mistakes, I do apologize. Alright. I will say, people in the comments, I'm not going to specialize, but do not mention what ship is yours. Try and, like, keep it, to the minimum. So we've got your standard, we got 2 little 1x1s here. And then we have the docking port up above. Hello. And then, yeah, we got the cockpit. I'm really curious as where Jasper Crix goes. Maybe he's hiding in the rafters. Anyway, very nice cockpit. In we go. Yeah, looking back, I believe this was supposed to have a color scheme, but more than likely what happened is the creator probably didn't send me the color scheme, so I just left it default. But I don't think it takes anything away from it. I do like it. Alright, so weapon-wise, we've got some particles, some ballistics, and we've got a singular missile. So all in all, very nice. I think it really does a really good job of the ship. So we'll start off with you, Flippy. What score are you going to give it?
Oh, give it a 3. Looks pretty nice. Just the design.
Okay, what about you, Norgroth?
I'm also going to give it a 3. The missile pod underneath clipping into the ground. I docked a point earlier. I want to stay consistent there. So otherwise, I would have gotten a 4.
That is fair. What about you, Binary?
I'll give it a 3.5. It kind of reminds me of like an Asp Explorer or something Lakon would make.
That's fair. It does kind of give that vibe. And then Michael, what about you?
I like the last one that had the weapons on the bottom. I'm going to push that off on Starfield, not necessarily the builder. I'm going to give this one a 5. I really like it.
Fair. Nice. Okay. And I agree. I think I won't put it down, although it is fair that, maybe don't like it. But I think it looks really nice. I like that there's some minimal merging here, like these weapons, which I think does a really good job. Like it's not too, over the top, and then these back pieces. And the thing, too, is I feel like it gives you... We've got a lot of accessibility for mounting points. We can mount some stuff there. We have some mounting points there, so you can mix and match. I'm trying to remember where the particles are. I know the particles are... Okay, the particles are behind, yeah. All in all, very nice. Let's head back down to the planet. Yeah, a lot of these ships, they kind of will. And the thing is, when it comes to like landing on the pads and stuff, and sometimes being a bit funky, that's more down to Bethesda, I feel like, than anything else. Just because, like, they could easily crank the, like those landing gear. I'm assuming you can. They're on a kind of a hydraulic system. You could probably pump them up a little bit. Get out with your car jack and lift a little bit. So now we are on to number 16 on the list. So here we go. We got the Green Machine. Another Hope Tech build. I quite like it, although I kind of have a feeling the way the judges are going to go with this, just because it. I think it looks quite cool. I like I love these landing gear on a fighter. Maybe not, but. If they could act as an engines, I would 100% only use these. Also, the color scheme is a 10 out of 10 for me. So we'll start off with you, Binary, because Green Machine. What are you thinking?
A little too much green. Kind of looks like if Master Chief was crunched into a tinfoil ball. But other than that, it doesn't really scream fighter for me.
That's fair. What about you, Flippy?
Well,
that says it all. What about you, Michael?
So many words. It looks like a ghost on steroids.
Like Ghost, not from Halo, I'm assuming. You mean the Ghost ship?
Yeah.
Okay,
not from Halo.
That is fair. I was going to say, okay. What about you, Michael?
The same way. I think it looks a lot like a Ghost, and I love the Ghost as a fighter. I think they probably had to put them landing gear in the rear because they added more weight to it. I would not have chosen the landing gear for the same reason I wouldn't have chosen them prior. They're made for heavy freighter type stuff.
Which is very true.
But it's a good looking ship. I really like it, and I assume those are 3015s. This is going to be a nice little fighter.
What about
looking like a fighter? Not necessarily.
Yeah. What about you, Nogroth? What's your opinion?
I love the look of the ship, but to me it screams shuttle, not fighter.
That is very true. Very true. All right, so in we go, and we'll take a look at the interior.
Do you need something?
All right, so we've got a all-in-one berth, very nice. And then behind here we have a 1x1. And if we go up a level, we've got the docking port in front. And then we have a 1x1 and the cockpit. Again, I don't think you can go wrong with this cockpit as a choice for, although it looks like there's subwoofers on the front, but I don't think they're meant to be subwoofers. I think there's something else entirely. Anyway, we're going to take her off. See, I don't particularly mind these landing gear if this was the sort of ship which I can see HopeTech making kind of ground-based fighters that may need to breach atmosphere very quickly to defend against like an incoming invasion or an attack. But I do think that like the size of it, weapon-wise, we've got particles and EMs, which is a nice configuration. So we're gonna really quickly look at it. So we'll start off with you, Flippy.
Oh. I'm sorry, whoever ship this is, but you're getting a 1.
Okay, fair enough. We'll move on. We won't dwell on that. We don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. What about you, Binary?
I'll give it a 2.
Okay, Jesus, not far off. But what about you, Nolgroth?
I love the design of the ship, but it's not a fighter. I'm giving it a 2.
Okay, and then Michael, what about you?
I'll give it a 3.
Okay, you're giving it a 3. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you guys making me look like a bad guy.
I like the weapons he has on it. They're the same kind of weapons I run. I like the Ghost build. I probably would not have run it for a fighter competition, but overall, I know that it'll perform. But looks wise and with the double set of those large landing gear, I can definitely go average. I'll go 3 for sure.
Okay, which is, again, like that is fair. Like I will say, it's definitely like it's quite an interesting design. It does kind of bridge that thing of like what we think of a fighter. It's not really giving me fighter vibes, but I could see it in, like I said, if HopeTech was to make a kind of a fighter vessel that wasn't carrier based, it was land based, it could definitely kind of. But again, it's like what Michael was saying. Like there's a lot of lifting potential here. It's kind of like unnecessary almost. But there's nothing wrong with that. And Mike, there's no. I don't believe there's any storyline behind it, but if there is, the creator can share that once the competition has ended. So we're gonna head to. We're gonna head down, and we're gonna check the next one. See you later, Aiden. Have a good night. I mean, it's nice not being the bad guy for once. Although what's wrong?
It's quite the loading screen.
Yeah, that's Geronimo.
Well, he got my good side of my face, spawner, clearly.
Didn't know they put Flippy in the game.
Oh, they did.
Oh no, right? I must be really famous.
Alright, so I will say off the bat, before anyone says anything, I like this ship. It fits in the constraints despite looking quite large, just to confirm. Confirm there. And the lore of this, there is some cool lore behind this. I like the use, I like kind of how they put like some of the stuff on the front. It definitely kind of strikes me as like kind of a fighter that has like almost like a safety mechanism in it. Like I just imagine if the ship was to get like destroyed or like attacked, and it was, the back section could detach, and you have basically like an escape shuttle. So, yeah, we'll really quickly get a nice little look at the side. So we'll start off with you, Mr. One Flippy. What are you thinking?
It's very unique. It almost looks like like you were saying before, how it looks like they could detach. It almost looks like just the blue part of the ship could detach.
Yeah, which again, I think that I'm not sure if that was initial design philosophy, but the fact that the color scheme is different than what's underneath it, I do feel like that was probably part of the parcel. What about you, Michael? What's your initial kind of thoughts?
What we got up front there? That's weapons?
Yeah, weapons
The
and the
engine
grav
up there?
drive and the landing gear.
Okay, well, so it's all necessary. I like the aft end. I like the green. If you could have gotten all that in, I like the whole ship. To tell you the truth, I just it's an odd design. I'm not gonna knock it. We'll see what the interior looks like and how it performs. it's certainly odd. It's not anything I would go for, but that doesn't put a negative on me. It's certainly unique. I'll give it that.
That is fair. What about you, Noel? What's your opinion?
It kind of gives me the vibes that the front end is the interstellar part, and the back end connects to it, and it flies to wherever it's supposed to go, and the back end, detaches, and that does some of the fighting. But then you got the weapons up front, and that kind of spoils it.
Now there is weapons underneath it, but yeah, the I will say it's like you were saying, like with the grav drive and stuff, it does kind of give that vibes of, like if it needs to attach, it can. What about
Well, those
you?
Nova parts on there, it looks like it would shoot off. That looks like it's the aircraft carrier part. Blue part would shoot off. It's quite neat looking.
It is, I will say that. What about you, Byron?
Not quite sure what I'm looking at here.
It's a ship.
I thought it was docked, and then you zoomed out and realized it was part of the ship, and I was like, "What?" So I don't know. It's a little odd for me.
Okay, that is fair. That is fair. All right, we're gonna enter inside.
No. Just put them in the fridge.
Here we go. Right, so we've got a docking port and the outpost. And then we have the cockpit. I think this is the Magellan cockpit. Might be the first one we've seen so far. Quite like the cockpit. Then, oh, I thought I just sat that really weird. So let's take her off. I will say I like it. It is very unique looking. So weapon-wise, we've got those particles. We've got the missile, and we've got some EMs. So yeah, it's all right. We'll start off with you, Flippy. What's your score and why?
It looks very minimalistic, which is good, which is what I wanted to see. So I'll give it a solid 3.
You give it a solid 3. Okay. What about you, Binary?
I would give it a 2, just because it kind of looks like it should be like spun 180 degrees and put underneath it or something. I'm not sure.
All right, that's fair. What about you, Michael?
I'm going to give it a 3 too.
Okay,
not a 3 and a 2, just a 3-2.
That is fair. And then Noel, what about you?
I'm gonna go with a 3.5. I know you didn't want us to really go 0.5s, but
well, that went out the bandwagon with Binary and Flippy, so you're all good.
I ain't gave no 0.5s, mate.
No, Flippy hasn't. It's all been binary.
That's
I like the concept of going outside the box. I'm not sure I necessarily can get behind the ship, but I do like the idea that the designer went outside the box and did something different. That's really neat. So kudos to you, whoever designed this.
That is fair. I will say I am shocked because if it was me, this would be getting a solid 5. I like the design of it. I think it's really cool having that kind of excess section. There is some lore behind it, which the creator will be able to share once the voting ends. We don't know. The general public might like this ship. They might not. But yeah. But anyway, respect the judge's decision, even though they're wrong. No, I'm joking. So let's move on to the next one. So now we're at number 18. It does. It definitely does. I could see like if that ship was like meant to be kind of that bottom part was supposed to be like a catapult system. I could have, it would have. Could see why people would have maybe thought a bit higher of it, but like you're saying, it is weird having kind of the weapons attached to the grav drive on the front, sort of thing. So now we go to 18. Okay. Well, that's different. Just confirming. So it's in the size limit. I will say we don't have a height limit, but someone is showing off on their ability to make stuff. Yeah, we got it's very Scorpion vibe. I do like how it looks. It's gonna be interesting to see what the judges kind of say. It's I believe it's an all Deimos build, if I remember correctly, which bonus points, just because I could build it in one manufacturer. So I think we'll start off with Grunt. What's your initial opinion so far?
It's very unique. No, I if it stings as well as it looks, it might get a good score for me. You never know.
All right, that's fair. What about you, Michael?
I would not have submitted this ship.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
That
Yeah,
is
rough.
That is fair.
That
though.
was
That
ominous.
is fair. What about you, Binary?
That's a Scorpion.
Nice, Binary. Glad you can tell things. Flippy, what about you?
Words can't. Yeah, no.
Okay. Fair enough. Alright, so we're going to head inside and check it out. I will say this was a pain in the ass to build. Oh, we got some murder.
Perfect. Bonus points.
No. So we got an all-in-one berth. And then we got another all-in-one berth. And we got the cockpit there. I'm just gonna... It's over here. Just got a little... Oh. This looks kind of cool. What is this? I don't know what piece this is, but it actually looks kind of cool. Words don't fail, Binary. And then we've got the cockpit. I don't know if that bottom area was kind of designed with that intent, but it does look kind of cool. It looks like it's meant to be kind of a weapons area where you would load your shells. After this, we have to reload the save just so we have some light outside. Oh, is the grav drive? That is fair. Yeah, you are correct. All right, let's take it off. Oh, that is a fair point. Rue is just pointing out you get a great view of the armillary if you were to set it up. So weapon-wise, we're very powerful weapon-wise. So we've got particles, and you guessed it, particles. So this thing could shred. It definitely has a sting. So let me let's take a look at it from the front. I will say it actually looks kind of... I quite like it a little bit more in space because those like landing gear make it look like legs. So we'll start off with you, Nolgroth. What score are you giving it and why?
I'm going to give it a 3. I like the fact that it's, again, outside the box. Don't like the internal merging. As a ship, I probably would never fly it, but I think it's cool that the person stepped outside and tried something a little different.
That is fair. What about you, Flippy?
It's unique. I'll give you that. I'm gonna give it a 1.
No, the Almagas cannot be blown up, so you're giving it a 1. Okay. What about you, Binary?
That's a 5. That is
5.
the coolest ship I ever
It is
seen.
not a
Dude, that
5,
is sick.
Binary.
Imagine someone's flying up
is
in
good.
a whole ass Scorpion, and you're sitting there in your X-wing, and you're like, "Is that a giant Scorpion?"
All right, that is fair. What about you, Michael?
I almost agree with Binary. In space, it looks pretty decent. It's nothing that I agree with Nogrith. I would never, ever, it would never even cross my mind to fly this thing around. I'm gonna go with 3 on this one.
Okay, that is fair. So that brings the score to... Okay.
It's a good looking ship,
It is,
man.
I will
But I
say...
just couldn't. I could use it as a fighter. I just couldn't. I love whoever built this. Kudos. This is a great looking ship. As a fighter, no.
Yeah,
So
I am inclined to agree. It looks awesome, but it's not really a fighter. This would be more like kind of like if you were doing a like this is kind of on the level of what we see Nomad tend to do, and when it comes to kind of making things that are out of the box, looks really cool. But again, it's it's not necessarily a fighter, but
But the
that's
guns are on the Stinger, dude.
yeah, that is true. Right, so we're gonna head back down now and look at number 19. So we're nearly done this. So I just want to take this time right now to thank everybody who has joined us and also for submitting a ship. It has been a very fun time. I'm gonna actually load the save real quick just so I can get it better, so it's not raining. Oh no, it definitely is. That is a fair point. I could definitely see it if it was designed as a kind of meant to be an alien kind of combat vessel. It definitely fits that role.
It's a great day in the space lanes, huh?
All right, let's. We're now looking at number 19. Okay, so we got another Stroud Eklund vessel, well, with some Hope Tech and Nova Galactic pieces. Quite like it. I like. I mean, it's using a lot of the kind of your Stroud Eklund toolbox pieces. Very nice, very symmetrical, very kind of like teardrop shaped. All in all, very nice. I like the use of those particles. Really like how those particles look structurally. So we're oh, whoops, wrong button. Just trying to get out. So we'll start off with you, Michael. What's your initial opinion?
I like with all Stroud ships. I like them. They operate good. They make good fighters, and for whatever reason, their agility is really high. With that particular bridge on that's a pretty decent looking design.
What about you, Binary?
I like it. It again kind of looks like a Lakon ship to me, so I'm a fan of them.
That is fair. What about you, Flippy?
That looks right.
He says he stuffs his face with brownies. What about you, Nogroth?
No. This time it's pie.
Okay. Yeah.
Bro, tell your mom to bring me some food.
Anyway, boys, back on topic. Well, what do you think, Nogroth?
I think overall it looks really, really good. I was kind of initially very, very impressed, but I'm kind of worried about the visibility of that cockpit. So we'll see when we get inside.
That is fair. All right, so we gotta give me that. In we go. So we have a all-in-one berth here, docking port, nice little toilet. So if you need to, you get a dose of the shits, as they say. Oh, believe me, Flippy is eating something. He is 100% eating something. So, again, really nice.
I'm eating egg and bacon pies.
Egg and bacon in a pot. Oh, okay. I thought you meant like a sweets pie. So, all in all, I think it looked pretty good. Let's take her off, see how she performs in space. Freestar colors. It does kind of give some Freestar colors. I can definitely see this being a Freestar combat vessel. So weapon-wise, we've got particles and ballistics. Oh, I forgot these particles are kind of green. Alright, so we'll start off with Pie Boy. What score are you giving this and why?
It's not a number.
Yeah, it's not a number.
I'm sorry, I'm really enjoying my pies. I'll give it a...
Words
I
would
don't
be
know,
helpful.
a 3.
Give it a 3, okay. Perfect. What about you, Michael?
I like it. I'm with Nograth on the visibility of the cockpit as far as looking side to side and being able to look behind you. You got stuff behind your head and you got stuff to each side. Uh, might be a little large for a fighter, but it fits the bill. Let me give this one a 4.
Okay, fair, fair. What about you, Nogroth?
I'm also going to give it a 4. Would have been a 5 except for that visibility issue. When you turned your head and I saw gray bulkhead stuff there, I was like,
That is fair. That is
I
fair.
really wish it would have been a little bit more visibility there. But great design, love it. So I'll give it a 4.
All right, and then binary. Finally, what are you gonna give it?
I'm gonna give it a 4. It looks very nice.
That is fair. I will say I really like it. I have to give them the bonus points. Obviously, my points count for nothing, but I do like that. They tried something different with the cockpits because with Stroud Eklund, we've only got 2 or 3 cockpits, and only one of them is forward-facing cockpit. Oh, I just accidentally took pictures. I was like, what was that button? I quite like it. I don't particularly mind too much about the visibility, but then obviously from a lore point of view, you would want good visibility. So that makes a lot of sense. So let's head back down and check out the next one. So now we're on to number 20. We've got 5 more, including this one. Good shoulders. All right, so now let's check number 20.
We do get to apologize to all these people for our ineptness as judges, correct?
No apologizing,
Look,
man.
the damage has been done. You have to just live with it. All right, so this is entry number 20. We got a Deimos style vessel with some tile pieces. I really like it. We've got some merging for some structural pieces on the exterior. I like the color scheme. Structurally really nice. So we'll start off with you, Michael. What's your initial kind of opinion?
Oh, I like it. That's a fighter.
All right, very, very true. What about you, Flippy?
Nah, it looks pretty good. I like how you've added the auto cannons instead of like every other person using like Vanguard obliterators and shit. So good job.
That is fair. That is fair. What about you, Nogroth?
Oh, I think it looks fantastic.
Let's see where the engines are. Where are the engines? What about you, Binary? Hello, Binary. Has he fallen asleep?
It's got a spoiler, so that means it's got more downforce, which means it's faster.
That's not how space works, but okay.
Shh.
I'm wondering where's the engine? Oh, there's the engine. The engine's here. Yeah, okay. All right, so let's head inside and fly it. Oh, how do we? Okay, we got some merging issues here, but you can squeeze. Who's leaving? All right, CS. Chat to you later. All right, so we have a nice little view here of the weapons straight off the bat, which I quite like. Those Mauler 104Ls, very nice weaponry. And then back here we got a computer control room, very nice. Simeon's trying to update his Facebook. We got the docking port underneath, and then we have the Deimos cockpit, which fits really well for a kind of a fighter. Let's where's my backpack? Oh, maybe I'm not. I didn't know if that's normal, if it doesn't. Anyway, yes, let's take it off. It does. I say it. It really. It looks very nice. I like the kind of the wings, the split wings and stuff. Oh, the engine's underneath. Okay. Thought they were up on top. We'll see. They had a very cool profile as it was taken off. So weapon-wise, we've got particles, ballistics, and missiles. Just seeing where the... Okay, so the engines are underneath. What engines are we working on this bad boy? Oh, okay, we're using some... Okay, cool. Alright, so we'll start off with you, Nolgroth. What's your score and why?
4. If there was not that massive merge thing in the middle of the landing bay, it would have gotten a 5.
That is
But
fair.
as far as everything else, fantastic build. Fantastic.
That is fair. What about you, Flippy?
That looks pretty good. I'd give it a 3.
Give it a 3. Okay, fair enough. What about you, Binary?
I give it a 4.
Give it a 4.
It's a solid looking ship.
That is fair. And then, Michael, what about you?
I would be a hypocrite if I judged the merging inside the landing bay. This is a solid 4.
Okay, that is fair. Yeah, I know well, I personally, I don't mind it. Again, I don't really mind it much about the merging. Although that might kind of tweak me just a little bit. But again, I kind of see why you need to do it, just because you can't snap, things to this landing bay. I really like the kind of the use of these merged tile pieces to kind of act as like wings, which are really, really nice. And we've got the missiles and stuff. So we got another good score there. All right, now we are on to the last 4 vessels. Let's load up. Entry number 21. Binary, if you want to get the Discord ready for the polls and stuff, because we'll be pulling the 4 highest scores out and then letting everybody do the voting. All right, that we get. Oh. Okay, that's. Oh, I can remember this one. So this is gonna double check. Okay, this is entry 21. It's a nice little small ship. Makes good use of the tile pieces and the Nova Galactic. So yeah, we'll start off with you, Flippy. What's your initial take?
Yeah, again, I don't really like turrets. That's just me. The back profile looks pretty nice. Nice and sleek. The cockpit fits alright with the Tio piece on top below there.
What about you, Binary?
It's adorable.
That is fair. What about you, Michael? What's your initial kind of thought?
Man, I like it. It's not anything that I ever would have went for, but it's a nice looking little ship.
And then what about you, Noel Groth?
This is a fighter. This is what we came here to see is fighters, and this, it's definitely giving me the fighter vibes.
So I will say, there's people talking about merging. I think there's very minimal merging with this. I think the only merging is the engine reactor, or the reactor, the grav drive, and the fuel are just merged there. Aside from that, they did a very good job of kind of keeping everything else. As for the turret, I don't necessarily mind if it's like a tail turret, like a singular tail turret, but then obviously, So we have a all-in-one berth here. Very nice. And then we've got the docking port up here. Why is there 2 ladders? That's weird. Again, sometimes the game generates ladders in weird spots. And then we have again, can't really go wrong with this cockpit. Oh, it's probably going to be very... The only one thing I will say is those engines are they're B-class engines. So It's not going to be as fast initially, but yeah, definitely going to be. We got some agility because this thing weighs very little. Again, I like the little tail on the back. Alright, so weapon-wise, we've got particles, and then the back particle turret. Alright, so we'll start off with you, Michael. What's your score and why?
I have to give this one a 5.
Okay,
I don't have any choice, man. This is a tiny ship that I would drive all day long.
That is fair. What about you, Nogroth?
3.5. I generally overall like the profile and everything, but I don't think it's something that I would drive all day long. It's a good ship, but I'm not sure it breaks into my top 5 on this list.
That is fair. That is fair. What about you, Binary?
I give that a 5. That's something I would make.
That is fair. What about you, Flippy? You have to pause.
Again, it goes back to what I've been saying for most of the stream. I don't like how it's armed to the teeth. I'll give it a 3.
Okay, that is fair. Okay. Again, like I'm not against. Like I think it's really really cool. I do agree with Flippy. Like if you were gonna use this in combat, like from a purely gameplay point of view, those turrets are necessary on higher difficulty.
Yeah, well, if you're playing around with it like by yourself,
yeah, like from a lore point of view,
it's fine to arm it out to the teeth.
I would like to see less, and maybe like if this had like maybe like lasers and ballistics instead of all particles, I think it would be like a 5 out of 5. You know, obviously my score doesn't count, but yeah. All in all, it looks really cool though, really small, really tiny. So now we're on to entry number 22. Reverse battering ram. I always use turrets just because I love turrets. I think it's really cool just having a... Flippy hates too much weapons, and I kind of do agree with him. From a like kind of a lore point of view, you know, particles are OP as fuck, but from a gameplay point of view, you need them in certain situations. So we got number 22 here. Ooh, okay, I like this. We've got another vessel that does not seem to be merged. It's got a... I want to say this is probably the first, like a mainstream sci-fi fighter. I think it looks really nice. We've got a little bit of merging, but more structural, it seems. So we'll start off with you, Nogroth. What's your initial opinion?
Yeah, that's a sexy ship right there. I'm a little concerned again about the balance when it's landed, but this one looks a little bit more decked out below in terms of the landing gear, so... yeah.
One thing I always kind of assumed with Starfield, and it's not something that's really covered, but I'd like to assume that the landing or the cargo bay acts as a landing gear in of itself. Obviously, it doesn't, you know, give a thrust away, but that's how I always kind of see them. And obviously, you know, that's not really covered in game, but yeah, it's kind of like how in Star Wars some ships do that. Anyway, we'll go to you next, Binary.
It looks sweet. Looks like, yeah, like you said, very, very mainstream sci-fi like. I could definitely see it in something like Star Trek or something like that.
Maybe not Star Trek, but yeah.
Maybe not Star Trek, but you know what I mean. It looks like a modern day or a futuristic Blackbird, maybe.
It's something I could see. Like it look kind of gives me like longsword vibes from Halo. It's very nice. What about you, Michael?
I like it. It's just exactly what I mean. It looks like a fighter.
And I do like the minimal merging is nice. Like there is some merging, but generally speaking, it's, you know, it's pretty minimal. What about you, Flippy?
I like it. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, the one level is very nice, I will say.
Plus broken legs.
Less broken legs. Yeah, very true, very true. Well, I'll still find a way to break legs. All right, so straight off the bat, we have all-in-one berth. Very nice. We got our docking board up above. And then we have, we've got the Kontiki Bridge again. Very nice. There is nothing wrong with ladders. We should praise ladders because it's a first for the Bethesda's engine. So again, normally I would say bridge maybe a bit too big, but it kind of fits considering there's not a lot going on with the halves. It's, you know, nice to have some extra crew stations. So we're gonna take her off, see how ship performs. But Bethesda, no, we would all hate ladders. It is kind of funny considering like ladders were like a big thing for Bethesda because it's the first game that has like actual ladders that you can climb. And I think for like a day or two, I was like, yeah, I used ladders. Now it's like, yeah, I use my jetpack. So weapon-wise, we've got particles and missiles, which I quite like. You know, this is, again, the profile from the back looks phenomenal. Like, this looks like a proper fighter that could definitely fight in atmosphere, as well as in space. So we'll start off with you, Michael. What score are you giving it?
I'm gonna give that one a hard 4.
Okay.
Yeah, that's I like that ship. That's a pretty nice ship.
Fair, fair. What about you, Binary?
I give it a 4. I give it a 5, but I wish it was a little bit wider.
I don't imagine he could get any wider and
Yeah,
being
he
parameters.
can't. He can't get any. Uh-oh.
Well, parameters that's on you, Crimson.
Uh-oh.
You ruined his artist.
Uh-oh. We got a problem here, boys.
He's too wide.
It's too
He's
wide.
Too wide.
I say we let it slide.
We're gonna have to deduct a point from everyone, I think.
Nah, should be disqualified.
You think all right, I'll leave it to the judges. Flippy says disqualified. Nogra, what do you think?
I think it should be disqualified. The parameters were set.
Okay. That is fair. What about you, Michael?
I would take the point just because somebody submitted it. It got built. It didn't get caught. And we're on a live stream, so I would just take the point.
And Binary, what's your opinion?
I say we just take a point because that's on you. You didn't notice it either.
That is fair. I will say, I'm gonna jump in here. I'm gonna agree. I think we're gonna take a point. I will say it's partly on me, but at the same time, yes. So just remember that. So score wise, so we had 2 4s. I'm gonna drop them down to 3s, and then Nolgroth, what score are you gonna give?
With the point drop, I'm going to give it a 3.
Okay, that is fair. So a 2,
It would have been
or
4.
originally you were gonna give it a 4?
I was originally going to give it a 4, but
Okay.
bring it down to 3.
That is fair. And then Flippy, what about you?
Bro, I'm just a villain, apparently.
You haven't even
I
given a
was going
score
to give it
yet.
a 3.
So now you're gonna give it a 2?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I will say again, it's equally my fault because I should have picked it up, but at the same time the brief was known. If you cut the wings off, it would be in the kind of the size, which is kind of sad because I think it was a really cool ship. But yeah, we're gonna negative it 1. Now we're gonna go to the next one. I'm just reading the chat. It's interesting, kind of. The thing is, you could Rick Hammer, but it's not my design to remove stuff.
Another nitpick I have with it is the fuel tanks are exposed, Crimson.
That is fair, but I will say the only way you could hide it is maybe by merging. So, but again, it is what it is. On to the next one now. So this is entry number 23. This one is definitely in the size. It's a blue boy. Similar profile to some of the ones we've seen before. I like it though. I like the kind of the color scheme is quite nice. Engines on the back. Yeah, the color, I quite like the color. I feel like in space it would kind of blend a little bit better. Obviously on the surface it looks a bit, yeah. All right. So let's we'll start off with you, Michael. What's your initial opinion?
So far, I like it. I think she stacked up a little high, and I'll take that into consideration. But as far as the color is concerned, I like the color. And as you're saying, Space Fighter, they don't last long enough to matter anyway.
Yeah.
So, but I like the weapon systems I'm looking at. I like it. It's a nice looking little fighter.
That is fair. Okay, what about you, Flippy?
Yeah, it's a bit stacked, like high. I feel like it's got too many of the Vanguard weapons again. And the color, this ain't gonna help my case. The color reminds me of a blueberry.
Oh, blue. Okay, yeah, that's what happens when you eat. What about you, Nogroth?
It looks like an attack helicopter, and I mean that in the best possible way. That's a pretty cool looking ship right there.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. What about you, Binary?
I think it's a little tall.
A
But
little
other than that,
tall.
it looks good.
See, this is one of those situations where if the person was to merge, they could definitely like slot down a bit, but you know they don't want to merge, which is perfectly fine. All right. I think Mike, you and Nogroth on the same wavelength. He also said it looks like a helicopter. All right, so in we go. So off the bat, we got the docking port underneath, and we are straight into the. So there's not much interior to this.
Need a hand with something.
No, I'm good, Simeon. We got the you know the. I feel like this is probably one of the most used cockpits of the series so far, which is interesting because it definitely fits the role. So we're gonna take off.
It's the most used cockpit because you guys pointed it out in the last competition.
Oh, did I? Oh, well, that's anybody who's doing that. Well, I'm not the judge now, so you know. But I think the general consensus is a nice cockpit.
Whoa, nice cockpit.
Okay, yeah. Let's just push on from that comment. So weapon-wise, we got particles and EMs. I will say I like the tail. The three engines are very nice. Color scheme looks a bit better in space. I think it kind of blends a little bit more. So we'll start off with you, Noldroth. What score are you giving it?
It doesn't quite make a 5, but it's a little better than a 4, so I'm going to go 4.5.
Okay, that is fine. What about you, Binary?
I'm gonna give it a 2.
Okay, fair enough. Any reason behind that?
I don't know. It just doesn't seem fightery. It just seems like a blob.
Okay, and we thought Flippy was out here to hurt hearts. What about you, Flippy?
I'll go one above binary. As I said, the color resembles a blueberry, so I'm gonna give it a 3. I don't
Okay.
like how it's got too many weapons. Just reduce the weapons to 2.
That is fair, but you have to realize though that they're only using 2 sets of weapons in general, so you know.
No, but that's not what I mean.
You mean there's too many weapons? There's
Yeah,
they're
just
using
have-
a full complement of which is fair. That is fair. What about you, Michael?
I'm in line with Nalgrith on this. I mean, if they take that top section, if they would have merged it in, and they may not like the merging, I think it's a good looking ship. I think it's highly capable, and unlike everyone else, I think weapons are cheap. If you're going after capital ships, bring all the weapons you can carry. I'm going to go with 4 on this one.
That is fair. Okay, perfect. Okay, Binary, real quick as we're getting to the end, will you, if you haven't done already, will you remove everybody's winner rolls so we can prepare for the next coming?
All right, your winners are about to be unwon. Unless you win again, then good on you.
Yeah, which we have some potential. I think we've got 2 people in the running for who can go back to back. I don't know if we have one that's a 3-time. Potentially, I don't think so. Oh no, we don't actually. We don't have one, sadly. All right, so now we're on to the last ship of the lot. There we go. Okay. So just off the bat, this was a pain in the ass to build. But
Bonus points.
No, don't. Well, if that's how you want. God damn it. It looks very cool. I love the asymmetry. I will say I'm a little sad that we don't have very much asymmetrical designs.
Hard to get them in a 15 wide.
It is, to be fair, it is very hard to get them. Overall, I really like it. I want to, when my leg stops breaking, I want to highlight the wing piece, which I think is really cool. There we go. So like you got this wing piece here that was very tricky to make. Yeah, so we'll start off with you, Michael. What's your initial kind of take on it?
I'm looking at cargo on a ship that don't need cargo.
That is
but my
very true.
my initial, if you remove the cargo out of the picture, if that falls within parameters, that's a very nice looking ship.
What about you, Nogroth?
Can we see the menu?
Oh
Make
yeah,
sure it falls
yeah.
within parameters?
You
I'm a
can.
little worried
I'm
about
pretty
that
sure
wing.
it is in the limit. It's 25 and 15.
Yes, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
yeah,
yeah.
it fits it exactly. It's squeezing in there. I just
Yeah,
wanted to
you
make sure.
can.
'Cause the illusion is that wing is a lot wider than what it actually
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
it
that
is.
is fair. It does look like that.
So, given that, depending on how she performs, this might be my favorite ship in the list so far.
Ooh, okay, very nice. What about you, Binary?
I think it's nice to have some asymmetry. It looks unique.
That is fair. And then what about you, Flippy? I'm just gonna get a shot of the back real quick.
I'll give you points because it's different. The weapons, again, like I feel like you've got too many of them cannons from the Vanguard. Can you go back up, Crimson?
Yeah. I'll come
See?
back to the front. Hold on. I'm sorry. Oh. Okay. Just cut my legs off at this point. I just walk around on nubs.
Yeah, I feel like the cargo shouldn't be there. The nice spine on the top with the radiator is a nice touch, but
That is fair. All right, let's see how ship performs. I do agree with Michael though. I think that the cargo is definitely a weird one. See, something I'm kind of noticing with a lot of these builds is I'm not sure if people are kind of custom making ships for the design for the competition, or they're just kind of retrofitting ships they've already had. Which there's nothing inherently wrong with retrofitting ships,
Do you need something?
but in situations like this where it's like the cargo, it's like, while it may be fine for some ships, like with Hope Tech, I could kind of get it maybe having a bit of cargo, but yeah. We have docking port, control station here. And then we have... Again, we got the... Oh, Jasper's back. Hello, Jasper. Back for the final ship. Hello. Okay, yeah, no, he's checking the systems.
How did you get him in there?
I spawned him in to get a thumbnail done, like, ages ago, and he has never left since. He just walks around the ship. Actually, can I kill him? I can't kill him. He's gonna get up and beat the shit out of me later. Yeah, he stays
Yeah,
with his
you better
safe
run now.
We're just gonna go to space and completely ignore him. But again, I like the asymmetry. I think is very, very cool. It's nice to see. There's a lot of finicky kind of structural merging. There's no interior merging, to my knowledge. Well, I definitely can't because he definitely. So weapon-wise, we've got we've got our particles, our missiles, and our EMs. I like that they're off-center. I think that's really, really cool. Obviously, we're not like worrying too much about the boost. We've got some B and some A classes. Or actually, no, I think they're all A classes. And then alright, so we'll start off with you, Flippy. Since you're probably eating and it'll take you 20 seconds to unmute.
I'm not eating this time. I just forgot I was on mute.
Alright, that's fine. So what are you rating this and why?
Yeah, but the same thing I've said on stream. I don't like how there's like so much of a certain weapon. I'd give it a solid 4.
Solid 4, okay, that is fair. What about you, Binary?
I give it a 3, just because unique.
Okay, that is fair. And then what about you, Nolgroth?
It's symmetrical, and it looks awesome. 5.
Okay, perfect. And then Michael, finally, what are you going to give the last ship in the lot?
I'm gonna give this one a 4.
Okay.
Yeah, it would. I got to tell you, if it hadn't been for the cargo containers on a fighter, this would be a solid 5 for me.
That is very fair. And 1 second. So that is a 16. So I would tend to agree with you. I think if they took the fighter or like it with it, it kind of gives me a Millennium Falcon vibe. It's more of a kind of a like a freighter that's been retrofitted, but on it just being a kind of a purpose-built fighter, yeah, the cargo just doesn't. All right, so the scoring is in. I'm going to just really quickly look over this and see who our 4 winners are. So it looks like, all right, just looking. All right, so in first place with a score of 19, we have entry number 14, which I will let you know is because they've won. It's Tycho's ship, the merge machine. Congratulations, Tycho. So, Binary, if you want to remove entry 14's picture from the poll.
Yep.
And then in second place, I'm just double checking. So we've got 16, we got 16.5. Okay. Second place is entry number 10. We've got Ghost Shadow with a score of 17.5, which is very nice. Congratulations on that. And then I'm just
That's entry 5.
that was no entry 10, entry 10. And then 11, 14. I'm just double checking here. So then we have a tie for fourth place, which or for third and fourth. So we both have a score of 16.5. We have entry number 12, which is Falco Russ's ship. And then we have entry number 21, which is Chrysocion's ship. So that is the 4 winners. So that, just to confirm, that is Binary, remove entry number 14, entry number 10, entry number 12, and entry number 21. And then the voting is going to go live. Binary, if you want to share a link to the Discord, since Nightbot is absolutely useless. Need to disenable Nightbot. So the voting is going to go live. So those 4 people, you can share your ships and how you built it in the ship builder. Everyone else, they're still all to play for. Anyone who has a
You
ship
want a link to the Discord, Crimson?
yeah, link to Discord then, Flippy, please. So anybody who's watching the live stream, you can join it and you go to the poll. Binary will set up the poll briefly. And then you can only vote once and do not vote for your own ship. And then, yeah, the voting will go live in a minute, and then it'll be shut down tomorrow around the same time. And then whoever is 5th place will basically win. That's okay, Rue. You have till tomorrow to get it done. So Binary, let me know when the voting is live.
Yeah, I just have to enter everything manually because it's dumb.
That's fine. That's fine. What did I do? Oh, the log is being very finicky. Okay. I'm just okay. I'm just gonna check. All right. So we're gonna really quickly. We're just gonna jump through the ships again, just so you get a feel for them. Hold on now. Okay, hold on. I'm just being informed that one of the builds are not supposed to be merged that way. So when we get to it, I will just double check it. So we're gonna start off with number 1, and we're just gonna go through them again, just so we kind of so you know what to play for. There is also going to be pictures on the Discord. So obviously we've got entry number 1 there. Entry number 2. entry number 3, entry number 4, entry number 5, entry number 6, entry number 7, entry number 8, and then entry number 9. Entry number 10 has already won, so there's no need highlighting that. Then we're going to really quickly, we're going to load up the next ones.
12 also won, right?
12 did win, and 14 won, and 21 won.
It's a great day in the space lanes, huh?
Hold on now. So there's entry number 11. 12 has won. 13, there's entry number 13. 14 has won. Entry number 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and entry number 20, I have been informed that the merge is not supposed to be the way it is. So I'm just gonna really quickly, I'm not sure what way you meant it to be, but just because that is on me, because I believe Nogroth, you voted -1 for that, didn't you?
I did as well.
Oh, you both
Yes,
voted
I did.
-1 for that. If you can, creator, if you can message me, and if you can show me how that's supposed to be merged very quickly, just so I can, if I can fix it, you will basically have been one of the winners. If we have time, again they're backwards. They're supposed to be the other way. Okay. They're supposed to be like that.
And let me correct, I did not vote negative on that. I told him I would be a hypocrite if I did
Oh, okay,
vote
you didn't.
negative on
Okay,
that.
so Nogroth, you're the only one who went negative. So realistically, even if it was a case of Nogroth's one wouldn't, you still would be just behind. You would be in kind of the tie for 5th place in the Bay. So yeah, so in regarding that, that is something to take into account. He's gonna really quickly. They're gonna message me. Okay, so they say it's not a big deal, but I just want to just for warning. So that when it comes to voting, it's not supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be more. I'm assuming. Can you confirm real quick with me? Is there still kind of a do they still make it hard to get into the cockpit? Or into the or if I built it the way you sent me, would it still be blocking the bay, or would it be more easy access? It would have it wouldn't have blocked. Sorry, I'm responding with them. Over the winners again now. Yeah. You barely see it in the back. Okay, so yeah, so it's not actually meant to block. So I did that arseways.
Tycho won,
Oh,
right?
it's supposed
Or you
to.
want to just DM me the winners?
Yeah, it's supposed to sit like that. I do apologize. Okay, that's fair. That is fair. Again, I do apologize. I'm gonna DM you the winners real quick. So it's Tycho binary.
Okay.
It is give me a second. I'm just gonna check real quick. General chat. It's Falco _ Rusticolis 4360 is one of the winners. Did you get that?
Yep.
Then it's Chrysocion, CHRY. Did you find him?
Yep.
For them? Okay, and then finally it was, where is it? Ghost Shadow.
Okay.
Okay, and that is so. Yeah, so the 4 winners are that. It's they've already been. I think they've already been added. Is the poll live, Binary?
Yeah, you just want to double check before I let everyone in.
Yeah, let me just double check. Flippy, have you spotted something?
I'm just looking now.
1,
It's
2,
not
3,
live yet.
4,
No,
No,
it's
not
in
live
a
yet.
hidden channel.
6,
Yeah, it's
7,
a hidden channel at the moment.
8,
Just
9.
checking.
So 10 is gone.
Sorry, who's the last one? I couldn't find it.
Ghost Shadow. So 10, 12. 10, 12, 14, and 21 should be missing. So 10, 12, 14, and...
Yeah, that's all good to go.
Well,
You can
good,
add
yeah.
everyone else.
So did you add the fourth guy, Banner?
Yep.
All right, perfect. So our 4 winners. If you want to make it live, Binary, and then link to it in the general chat. Yeah, I will say that I agree. No, man, I do apologize to the creator that it looks a lot better that way. I think when I was building it, I wasn't paying full attention. And then yeah, just remember, don't vote for your ship, please. Just because yeah, I think we have. Do we have anonymous voting turned on, Binary, or off?
I have it turned on.
Okay, that's
Oh,
fine.
turned
And
on.
then obviously the judges aren't going to vote. But if there's a situation of a tie between multiple, we might, you know. But yeah, we're just waiting on it to go live, and then obviously we'll kind of do our final words. So
Should be good.
The polls is live.
All right, perfect. Binary, if you
Everyone's
want
in
to
there.
share it in chat. Did you share it in general chat, Binary? Okay, Binary is just sharing it there now. Show us the winners again. Yeah, that is fine. That is fine. I will show you that. So the winners are the winners is so we've got entry 20 is one of the winners. That is Chrysocion. We have entry 12, Falco Roos. We have entry 14, which is Tycho. And then I need to really quickly swap to the first one to do entry number 10. All right, so yeah, the polls are now live. If you check the general chat, it should pop up. And it should let you know. Oh, I need to delete that screenshot because that is very blurry. There is pictures in the polls of the ships when you go to check them. I'm just gonna really quickly showcase the winner entry number 10. Bum, 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 bum. All right, and then there's entry number 10. There's that one there. So now that the 10 is one, because this is the one I remember stood out. This is supposed to be a Ryusian fighter. So Ghost will be able to show more about that in his little kind of when he posts them. So yeah, thank you guys everyone for popping in and watching the stream. Thank you to those that submitted, and thank you to the judges. We have our special guests, obviously Michael and Nolgraf. Thank you very much for coming in and kind of making this a more enjoyable experience. Obviously, thanks Binary, because Binary does all the kind of the behind the scenes stuff, and then Flippy, thanks for making it about food. But
You're welcome, mate.
so that's it for another month. Look forward to next month. We'll have something fun planned. Congratulations to the current winners, and remember we still have till tomorrow. It'll be this time tomorrow when the voting goes like the closes, and we will have potentially our 5th winner, maybe more depending on if it's a tie. But yeah, as always, guys, thank you for watching and thanks for everything. I will chat to you guys in the future.